Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit.
A presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Detroit.
Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is presented by Bell Tire. It was a total team win for the Tigers last night. Justin Verlander was dominant early. The offense showed some muscle with some late inning homers, but in the end, Ian Kinsler had the game-winning hit in the 11th inning, and the Tigers win on opening night here in Miami. Another gorgeous night for baseball here in South Florida. Welcome to Marlins Park. The Tigers and Marlins coming up in Game 2. Hi again, everyone. Welcome to Tigers Baseball. Mario and Pemba, Rod Allen, glad to have you with us for the Tigers and the Marlins tonight. And Rod, I don't care how you get there, as long as you get there. The Tigers won the ball game. It was a wacky one last night, but they got it done.
No question about that. I mean, it wasn't the way that they drew it up. Obviously, when you have your closer on the mound, if you got a 3-run lead in the 9th inning, you want to close it out, but it wasn't meant to be. One of the things that I did learn regarding Rodriguez in last night's contest, they made an adjustment after the game, so he should be good to go the remainder of the way.
All right, now Anibal Sanchez will take them out for the Tigers, former Marlin. This is where his career began, but for me, Sanchez is probably one of the biggest keys this year in the Tigers rotation, hopefully off to a good start tonight.
Well, they feel like they've acquired some things and changed some things in his windup, not turning with his hips as much as he did in the prior years. They feel like he'll have better command. He won't give up as many home runs as he did in last year. So we'll look forward to that. We'll point those things out to you during the course of the broadcast.
All right, well, he's got a tough opponent tonight. There is no doubt about that. Jose Fernandez, one of the bright young stars coming off Tommy John. Last year he came back. This year they're hoping for a great season for him.
Well, he's been awfully good here in this particular ballpark. In 26 starts, he has not lost a game, and the ERA is 1.40, and there's a lot of data. This guy's fastball 95 to 99. He's got a slider, and he also has improved his changeup the last couple of years because that slider is the last pitch they allow you to throw when you come back from Tommy John surgery. So he really developed a really good changeup that he likes to throw to the right-handers and the left-handers. It was great the Tigers got that win in last night's game because, as you mentioned, this cat right here, he is no joke.
He is no joke indeed. And hopefully runs will not be tough to come by tonight for the Tigers. We shall see. One thing we do know, last night, two of the top leadoff hitters in all of baseball were showing out, man. D. Gordon, Ian Kinsler, they had great games. We'll be back to talk about that in a moment. Last night, two of the top leadoff men of the game were on display here in Miami. Dee Gordon and Ian Kinsler combined for 6 hits, 4 of those for extra bases. And tonight, the two catalysts are back in their respective lineups once again. Back here in Miami, Mario and Pemba, Rod Allen, as we get you ready for baseball here tonight. And what can we say about those two guys, Rod? Ian Kinsler, huge night last night, had the game-winning hit, but boy, Dee Gordon had 3 big hits for his team as well.
Well, Dee Gordon had 205 hits last year. He also stole 50 bases. This guy was an all-star. He won a batting title, and he did not miss a beat in last night's contest. He got the first hit off Justin Verlander. It was a double, and then he got a couple of more extra base hits, and he came around to score. This guy's a dynamic player. He also steals lots of bases. Sanchez, pitching for the Tigers today, will make sure he keeps him off the base paths. Ian Kinsler, well, he's been at that second base position for better than a decade now, and he's been one of the best in our sport. He got it going last night with tons of hits. He drove in 4 runs in the contest and the game winner in the 11th inning. So we're talking about two dynamic second basemen, 2 guys that got off to terrific starts in last night's game, and the opposing pitchers of both these teams will be trying to slow those guys down tonight.
Yeah, the offense had their way last night. We anticipate tonight more pitching will be on tap as the Tigers get set to take on the Marlins. Hannibal Sanchez will get the call for the Tigers against Jose Fernandez. Stay with us. Game 2. Lineups first pitch from Miami next. Marlins get together for Game 2 in this season opening series here in South Florida. The field conditions tonight presented by Ace Hardware and the Scott's Company. The roof is closed, as we mentioned. The temperature inside is 75. The temperature outside is 74. Really doesn't matter that it's windy and cloudy outside, because indoors it is very nice and very calm here tonight as the Tigers get set for Game 2 in this series. Miguel Cabrera was, well, he had an RBI early in last night's ball game. Hopeful of doing a little bit more here tonight, but it's going to be a challenge with Jose Fernandez on the mound. Last evening, Justin Verlander, Rod, was awfully good early in that game. It looked like he might have no-hit stuff.
The ball was coming out of Verlander's hand very nicely in last night's game. Fastball got up to 94, but what I was really impressed with was the way he incorporated all of his off-speed pitches early in the contest to keep the Marlins off balance.
There's Ian Kinsler. He once again will lead things off for the Tigers tonight. Their starting lineup presented by the Southeast Michigan Ford dealers. And for Kinsler, 3-run homer last night, and he hit his first home run in his 50th game last year. So he's off to a much better pace this season. Upton and Cabrera will follow. Not many changes at all in the Tigers lineup tonight. JD batting cleanup, then Castellanos, Saltalamacchia will catch, Iglesias, Ghosts, and Aníbal Sanchez on the hill
for the Tigers, and they are facing the very talented Jose Fernandez.
And Fernandez will be pitching with a chip on his shoulder. Don Mattingly, his manager, did not give him the ball in last night's game. He should have been the opening day starter. He wasn't. He's got terrific stuff. You see the numbers, 17-0 in this particular ballpark, but that doesn't tell the whole story about Fernandez. Fastball mid-90s to upper 90s, a real good slider, and a changeup that's improving day by day. Let's take a look at the Miami Marlins starting defense, and it is brought to you by Tim Hortons. And it's a really good defense as far as the outfield is concerned. This is one of your better young outfielders in all of baseball with Yelich, Ozuna, and Stanton. The infield is exactly the way that it was assembled in last night's game by their manager, Don Mattingly.
Tigers last night had a couple of home runs late in the ball game. Anthony Ghost, in fact, went upper tank in the ballpark here last night. His home run traveling into the second deck. The Tigers hit 3 of them last night. And if the Tigers combine for 3 or more home runs again in this game, bring a copy of the box score to a participating Arby's location tomorrow. Get a free small order of curly fries. You can check out the box score in your local newspaper. And here we go tonight. Baseball is just about ready to start. Ian Kinsler will get things going. Kinsler last year at 296, off to a red hot start this year. He'll be followed by Upton and then Cabrera. Tigers play here in Miami today, and then it's an off day tomorrow. Opening day in the Motor City on Friday. Fernandez ready, and here's the first pitch of tonight's ball game. It's popped up. That'll head back toward the seats and out of play. 0-1 on Kinsler. Ian, 3 out of 6 total last night with the home run and 4 RBIs.
This is the first time that the majority of the position players have ever seen Jose Fernandez, with the exception of Justin Upton. Upton has seen him 10 times, and he has not been successful. No hits for Upton, so I'm not sure how good that scouting report was that he was able to give his teammates here today.
Teammates probably said, we'll pass. No balls, 2 strikes on Fernandez. He is only 23 years old, born in Cuba. Came back from the Tommy John of 2 years ago, and last year was able to make 11 starts. Swing and a miss, and down goes Kinsler on a 98-mile-an-hour piece of cheese.
Fernandez ain't messing around, and a very difficult pitch to catch up to, 98 miles an hour upstairs.
Boy, did that pop the glove. Here is Justin Upton. And there are the numbers at the bottom of that graphic. 0 for 10, 7 of those strikeouts. And Upton looks at ball 1. Justin last night had a couple of hits, made a couple of nice defensive plays out in the left field as well. A little bit high, and the count goes to 2-0. Upton, for the most part, at least early in spring, was struggling both offensively and with the glove. But boy, did he turn things on toward the end of camp, and apparently it has bled over into the regular season as well. 2-1 now on Justin.
Yeah, Justin had a good offensive night last night in his first regular season game as a Tiger, but he also made some really nice plays in the outfield.
Upton settling into that 2 slot of the Tigers lineup. Kinsler leading off, then Upton and Cabrera. Really good top 3 as he comes in with an off-speed pitch. 2-1.
91-mile-per-hour slider there thrown by Fernandez. Fastball in the mid-90s to upper 90s. He's got a really good slider. He has a changeup that's improving. Doesn't throw his curveball very often.
I guess the term off speed is relative to who's on the mound. Way inside, that'll go to the backstop, and that caught the home plate umpire, Kerwin Danley, right on the helmet, and down he goes to a knee.
We were talking about Kerwin Danley earlier today, Mario, and the fact that he has had some concussion problems with plays just like that.
Did he take a direct hit? I believe he did. This is not good. Man, Danley is down on the ground. Wow, straight on the top of the helmet.
Ugh.
It is ironic, Rod. You're right. You and I were talking about the fact that Danley in the past has had concussion issues, and lo and behold, 2 batters into the game, he is drilled right in the helmet. There's Joe West, the crew chief. We'll see if Danley is going to be able to continue. And Fernandez fastball already touching upper 90s in this game. I mean, this is tough because he has to call balls and strikes. It's not like he is patrolling a base. And Danley trying to decide whether or not he can continue, the veteran umpire.
He might not have much say in the matter.
And we'll see if the water will help. If not, may have to go with a 3-man umpiring crew here. I think he wants to stay. There's Country Joe, as we mentioned, the crew chief wants to make sure that he is 100%. At least 100% sure that he wants to stay in the game, and apparently he will. I mean, Realmuto had no chance, it appeared, even catching that ball. And JT was telling Danley, you could see, man, there was no intent there. And Kerwin said, I know it. Meanwhile, the count is 3-2 now on Upton. And down he goes. So the struggles continue for Upton against Fernandez. 2 batters, 2 strikeouts. So the Bernstein advantage brings you the pitcher-batter matchup between Miguel Cabrera and, well, everybody in Tigers history. Cabrera has won 4 batting titles, multi-batting titles in Tigers history. Probably not going to catch Ty Cobb. Old Tyrus Raymond racked up 12 of them.
And nearly 4,000 hits.
Yeah. Pretty good. There's a strike call. Miggy was not going to get the cheese on the first pitch. He's behind in the count 0-1.
He threw Miguel a curveball there. Does not throw many curveballs.
The 0-1 pitch. Cabrera had a hack at a 97-mile-an-hour fastball. 0-2. So Fernandez, one of those guys that had Tommy John, but apparently since coming back, it has not affected his velocity one bit. Here's the 0-2. Many thought that Fernandez would start the opener yesterday on opening night here in Miami. They pushed him back to today to manage his workload this year. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Yeah, they say by giving him the ball today versus allowing him to start in last night's game, over the course of the next 3 months, it's going to give him extra days rest. They figure at least 7 times he'll get at least 5 days rest and pitch on the 6th day. So they're really trying to protect the arm after the Tommy John last year.
And Cabrera goes down swinging, and the Tigers strike out 3 times here in the first. Marlins Park in Miami. The Marlins coming to the dish here in the bottom of the first inning, and well, it was a very snappy top of the first inning. The Tigers went down in order 1, 2, 3 on 3 strikeouts by Jose Fernandez. And so D. Gordon will get things started here against Anibal Sanchez in the home half of the first inning.
Yeah, very important to try to slow down D. Gordon here today. If you're Anibal Sanchez, you must keep this youngster off the base paths.
This kid can really wreak some havoc, and we saw it last night. I mean, he has turned into a spectacular leadoff hitter, won the batting title in the National League last year.
He also stole 50 bases. He is one of the fastest players in baseball.
You know, when you get your name mentioned with Jackie Robinson, you're pretty good.
Yes, you are.
Because he was the first guy since Jackie to lead the league in average and steals since 1949 when Robinson did it. Here's a bunt, third base side, Castellanos. Not in time. Leadoff man on. Here is the rest of the lineup for the Marlins, presented by the Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. And so D. Gordon aboard here. He will be followed by Marcell Ozuna. Christian Yelich will then follow. Then Giancarlo Stanton, Prado, Bour, and Real Muto, and the bottom two of Echeverria and Jose Fernandez. So we'll keep our eyes on D. Gordon, who swiped a ton of bases last year. 58. Draws a throw.
Also led Major League Baseball with 52 infield singles.
Inside, the count, 1 ball to no strikes on Marcell Ozuna. He was 1 for 5 in the opener last night. He's a pretty good hitter in interleague play career, 314. Gordon stretching his lead at first base. So Sanchez is clearly divided now between the runner and the hitter.
That's what Gordon will do.
Runner goes. Check swing foul.
Take a look at the bunt. It's a hard bunt down toward Castellanos. He was anticipating the bunt, but Gordon, he got down the line in 3.5 seconds from the time the ball made contact with the bat and he touched first base, and that's what you call flying.
Well, he was on the move, but the foul ball sends him back. 1 ball, 1 strike. Runner goes again. Saltalamacchia's throw. The tag is in time, and Gordon is out at second base. Saltalamacchia fired a bullet down there to Kinsler.
What a great exchange by Saltalamacchia. First and foremost, Sanchez gave him time to throw. He took very little time getting the ball out of the glove into the throwing hand, and he just threw it down there and threw it right on the bag, and a really nice swipe tag applied by Ian Kinsler. That is huge.
So the bases are empty now. 2-1 the count. And Ozuna checks his swing.
We talked about the fact that Gordon did steal 50 bags last year, but he was caught 20 times.
Yeah. Well, he's caught for the first time this year by Saltalamacchia, his former teammate. It's a really good tag by Kinsler. McCann started last night. Saltalamacchia gets the call tonight. It's on the ground to the shortstop, Iglesias. There are 2 gone now. Anibal Sanchez tonight, presented by Family Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
And so far, pretty good start here for Anibal Sanchez. As we take a peek at his numbers from a season ago, he just wasn't right. Really all year last year. Had to be shut down toward the tail end of the season with some type of a shoulder ailment, but he pitched well in spring training, and that's why he was able to make this start here, second day of the year.
Here's Yelich. Christian Yelich was 1 for 4 in the opener last night, had an RBI. Batted .300 last year for the Marlins. And he shows butt and has to skip out of the way. Made contact with the ball, it appeared. Now they're going to say it hit him. Looked like it got him on the knee. Sanchez wants to know if he offered the bunt. Nope, he took it back. 2-out hit batter. And that'll keep the inning going now for Giancarlo Stanton, who was up to his old tricks in the opener last night. Hit a long home run against Justin Verlander. It was his first career opening day home run. Shoot that one foul straight back. 0-1.
And the one thing the Tigers did last night against Stanton, they gave him a steady diet of fastballs, and he had a difficult time of catching up to the majority of those fastballs that were thrown by Justin Verlander. He did hit a breaking ball out of the ballpark. It was a curveball. 2-run shot off Justin.
Strike called by Dan Lee. No balls, 2 strikes.
That's when Anibal Sanchez is at his best, and when he's working all 4 quadrants of the strike zone with his 4-seam fastball anywhere from 90 to 94. Outstanding command.
Sanchez made his debut as a 22-year-old with the Marlins. That was back in 2006 here in Miami.
I believe he beat the Yankees in his major league debut.
Went on to throw a no-hitter. He was 10-3 in that 06 season.
Miguel was playing third base at that time.
Back in the day, as they say. Sanchez coming off a spring where really weren't quite sure if he would be ready for opening day. That bronchitis kind of slowed him down, along with the tricep problem. Outside. 2-2 now. The count on Giancarlo Stanton. Martin Prado lurking on deck for the Marlins. That is skied in the air a mile high on the infield. Castellanos calling everybody off. It'll nestle into his glove to retire the side. No runs. Hit batter and a single, but nothing doing. As we go to the top of the second in a scoreless ball game here tonight, pleasure to be joined by Avila, the executive vice president of baseball operations for the Tigers and the general manager. And Al, of course, the baseball gods must have been smiling on you because your first game as GM of the Tigers comes right here in Miami. How about that for scheduling?
Well, it didn't make it any easier, I can tell you that.
Well, I was going to say, because last night certainly was a ball game in which it wasn't easy to get the victory, but how different was it for you to kind of move one seed over now into the big chip?
Well, it's you know, I keep on saying it, the job really hasn't changed, except to the fact that you know, all the final decisions come here, and you know, obviously it makes it tough. Everything, all the decisions ends up here, but you know, the mechanics of how it works is all the same.
Al, it appears that the organization has some depth now, because you have a few guys that helped this team last year in 2015 that started the season on the disabled list, but you had some guys that were able to fill those needs, and they're capable big league players.
Yeah, it's a combination of some of the guys that we were able to go out and get in the off season, with some of the guys that are returning from last year that got some experience, and you have that combination that gives us the depth that we didn't have in years before.
JD Martinez leading things off with the base on balls. The Tigers have a base runner here against Fernandez, and of course there are a lot of Marlin ties here, Al. Of course, yourself and some of the players. Miguel Cabrera, who is obviously a guy that you helped sign for the Marlins back in the day when he was 16 years old. And can you remember back to that day when you finally got him in the fold, and did you anticipate this kind of career?
I can remember it very clearly. As a matter of fact, his dad is here for this series, and we've been reminiscing on how all that came about. And it was very exciting, really, and very challenging, because you know, there was some teams that were after him. But while we remember and we can reminisce, I think a lot of people here in Miami have forgotten because I mean, they just move on, believe me.
You know, while we're talking about some of the players that you know, JD Martinez also a couple of years ago released by Houston, but because you had a real nice relationship with him, knowing him since he was younger, that kind of led to him coming to Detroit, didn't it?
Well, you know, when he was here, and there was a point where I think he felt that he knew that he was going to be traded, and we knew that Detroit was a destination that he would come to based on, you know, our past relationships. You know, we had a lot of the same player development people and scouts that had come over to Detroit, so it was a place that he knew he was going to be able to come and play.
No balls, 2 strikes on Nick Castellanos. Leadoff walk here in the second. There's a fly ball to right, shallow to Giancarlo Stanton for the first out.
Al, you had to be elated with the fact that Justin Verlander really threw the ball well last night. It looked like he had a lot of life on his fastball, almost like the final 2 months of last season.
Yes, he picked up right where he left off. His velocity was pretty much similar to the end of the last year, but his, you know, all his pitches were working really good. He had really good command. He made one bad pitch to Stanton, and of course, you know, Stanton's one of the best hitters in all of baseball, and he was right on it. Other than that one pitch, I think he was brilliant.
Here's Saltalamacchia now with 1 on 1 out. The former Marlin takes a strike. Al, as he went through spring training this year, of course, Brad Ausmus, I think, is just like a player. I mean, the more he's around, the more he gets used to his job, and the more, I guess, he gains confidence. Did you notice anything different in spring training this year with Ausmus and the way camp was run?
He took charge. I've been observing him now for this is our 3rd year, and I can tell you from the first year to right now, he's totally different. He's taking charge, and he's doing things with a lot more confidence. A lot more proactive, and what I've seen is very encouraging. I think he's a good leader for us, and the players really respect him, and they play hard for him.
But there was a time last year, especially late in the season, there was a lot of pressure. Many thought that Brad would not return for this year. When you look back at how you were analyzing the whole situation, you decided to bring Brad back. What went into that thought process?
Well, a lot went into it. Number one, you know, is the players, the way they ended up the season. They didn't give up.
Ball's hit deep to right field. This one is going to go, and Saltalamacchia has hit it out.
That was a good sign, Al.
That's a good sign. I saw Holiday in today's game. He had thrown out a runner, but today, Salty, when he threw out Gordon right there, that was one of the best throws I have seen in a long, long time, and now a home run just to cap it all.
That's going to be a happy dugout. He played for the Marlins last year, didn't have a whole lot of success, but you guys signed him for that powerful left-handed bat, especially against a real difficult right-handed pitcher in Fernandez. He gets that slider in the upper 80s, and he hit that ball a ton.
Perfect situation. This is exactly why we signed him. And as you noticed, when they introduced him yesterday, he got booed.
It was difficult for you to trade Holiday, though, wasn't he? He's a pretty good player.
One of very popular, a very good player, very difficult to trade him, no doubt.
Well, Saltalamacchia here has just given us an indication of how much better the bench, I think, is going to be this year, Al. When you've got a guy like that who's got a little bit of pop from the left side of the plate, can spell McCann, but aside from that, you've got some nice pieces on your bench this year. Yeah,
I mean, he just hit a home run off one of the best pitchers in all of baseball. And, yeah, we like the veteran leadership in our bench with Avila, Romine, and Saltalamacchia. A lot of experiences right there. You know, yesterday's bunt with Avila, so we all can take it for granted, but we saw last year and a couple of years how tough it is for us to get just a bunt down. And Avila's here in a tough situation, lays it down, and almost gets a base hits out of it. So, yeah, we like the experience for sure.
Iglesias, the batter. And he looks at a strike to level the count.
Al, I saw you here yesterday with your dad, Ralph Avila, who's a long-time scout in the Hall of Fame as far as scouts are concerned. And it looked like you guys are having a real good time. But the question I have for you, how's your mom doing? Because you didn't re-sign your son, Alex. He went to the Chicago White Sox, and rumor has it she wasn't real happy with him.
No, and she's still not. I was over there for lunch. And,
did you get a chance to eat? She let you eat?
Yeah, she fed us. But no, she's not happy. As a matter of fact, she's watching the White Sox games. She did come out yesterday, but she had her eye on the White Sox games. You know, once we got home, the game started at 10 o'clock. So she had a long night. She was here for our game, and then she went home and watched that game that started at 10. So, but she'll be fine.
Here's Anthony Ghost now with 2 outs. You know, I noticed, Al, that your team's not getting a whole lot of respect because of the finish last year. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, no, I actually love playing the underdog. You know, we've been on top for all these years, and it's actually refreshing to tell you the truth. And you know, the most important thing is our players, our staff. These guys believe in themselves. We feel we have a good bunch of guys that we can make a good run for it. We understand that our division is very tough. It's not going to be easy. We do have to contend with the world champions, and they are the world champions. So we should be the underdog, you know, and we just got to go back out there and reprove it.
Well, that Central, without doubt, is going to be a very competitive division this year as Ghost strikes out swinging. Al, we appreciate you taking a couple of moments. Thanks for coming up.
Thank you, guys. It's my pleasure.
All right, the GM, Avila. Saltalamacchia has given the Tigers the lead. The 2-run homer has given the Tigers a 2-0 lead here in the second.
Let's take a look at the Tigers starting defense presented by Beaumont Health. It's pretty much the same way the Tigers lined them up in last night's contest. Upton in left field, Ghost in center, J.D. Martinez in right, Iglesias, Kinsler, Welder up the middle, Castellanos and Miguel on the corners, and Saltalamacchia. He's already made his presence known in this particular game.
So let me get this straight. He's thrown out D. Gordon trying to steal a base, and he's also homered against Jose Fernandez. That is a really good start to this one.
It was wonderful. Al gave us a real nice insight on how things kind of developed in the offseason, and guys like Saltalamacchia, they kept him and they traded away Brian Holiday, which was a very difficult decision for the ball club.
Yeah, Holiday was so well liked within the clubhouse. There's a base hit to right center field for Prado. And the leadoff man aboard. And sometimes those are the toughest deals to make. But when you look at it from an organizational standpoint, you had a little bit of a surplus. And, well, you've got to make a move.
And it gives the Tigers a better opportunity. You brought it up, and it was a great point. The fact that Saltalamacchia now off the bench, if they do need to pinch hit when there's a tough right-hander out there, they can pinch hit him, and he's got a chance to run into one and hit it out of the ballpark.
Yeah, they don't come many much more tougher than Jose Fernandez, who is taken deep in this game. Here now is Justin Bour with the leadoff man on. They play the shift against Bour.
One of the things that Bour has started to do is he started to beat the shift with taking fastballs, allowing them to travel deep in the strike zone and simply hitting the ball down toward third base, as he did in last night's game against Verlander.
Bour last night was 1 for 4. He was third among rookies last year in home runs in all of baseball with 23. Here's the 0-2. The only two guys ahead of him last year, Chris Bryant, who had a fabulous season for the Cubs, and Jock Peterson of the Dodgers, they each hit 26 home runs.
I said Bour beat the shift with a base hit off of Verlander in last night's game, but it was the other Justin Wilson, who gave up that base hit.
It's fouled back out of play. So it wasn't against JV, it was against J-Dub.
We might have to go with J. Will, because we already have a J. Dub.
Yeah, we do. Justin White.
Yeah.
I like J. Will better than anyone.
I do like J. Will.
All right, I'm on board. J. Will. What did we call Bour last night? J. Bo?
You did that, not me.
J. Bo swings and misses, struck him out. Jay gone right now. First strikeout of the ball game for Sanchez.
He's spotting that fastball nicely today. Up in the strike zone, four-seam variety, 90 miles an hour. Anibal Sanchez also made some adjustments in his delivery, his windup. Not nearly turning the back and allowing the hitters to see the number as he did in his first couple of years in a Tigers uniform. And they believe because he's not so pronounced in turning his body, it's going to allow his arm to catch up. He can throw more downhill, and he can start to get that really good movement on his two-seamer and that good fade on his changeup that he did not have last year.
A lot of home runs allowed last year, and he certainly was a guy, at least each of the previous 2 seasons, that kept the ball in the ballpark. That changed dramatically last year. Sanchez, toward the end of spring training, said, "I feel as good now as I ever have." There you go, 29 home runs. And he had given up just 13 combined the previous 2 years. Health is everything. Sanchez has been on the DL for a couple of stints each of the last 2 years. 1 ball, 1 strike on JT Realmuto. Adeiny Echeverria waiting on deck. 2-0. Tigers have the lead on the Saltalamacchia home run. That'll sail outside. Sanchez, 32 years old, a native of Maracay, Venezuela, also the hometown of Miguel Cabrera. Prado began the inning with a base hit, still standing at first base. Here's the 2-1. 3-1.
One of the things that they've been trying to get Saltalamacchia to do, and that's to get as low as possible, to give the pitchers a much lower target. He's got a big body, and it's very difficult for him to get down as low as McCann does, but that's one of the things that they're working on with him. Get as low as you possibly can to give that real low target.
Bouncing ball to short. Iglesias fires to second. There's one, and a double play for Sanchez. It goes 6-4-3. We played 2 in Miami. Detroit is brought to you by Comerica Bank. Raise your expectation of what a bank can be when it's time coming to Comerica. And by Ram Trucks. Right now, get a great deal during Ram Truck Month. Back here in Miami, where Jose Fernandez goes back to the hill, we go to the top of the third. The Tigers on top 2-0 on the Saltalamacchia home run. Anibal Sanchez leading it off for the Tigers, then Ian Kinsler and Justin Upton. Swing and a miss. Fernandez coming into this inning had gone to an 0-2 count on 5 of the first 8 hitters he faced. Now the 1-2 to Sanchez. Down he goes. 5 strikeouts now for Fernandez. Hey, by the way, stay tuned to Tigers Live following the game. We select the Fox Sports Detroit Tigers Player of the Game, presented by McDonald's. Stop by for your breakfast favorites, now being served all day.
Yeah, one of the things that Fernandez was doing in the very first inning, his fastballs were 98, 99 miles an hour. And the new pitching coach, Juan Nieves, the one thing that he's trying to get him to do is not come out and start the game throwing 98, 99. Start around 92, 93. And then when you need to reach back to get a little bit more, you have that in your tank to go get. A lot like what Justin Verlander was doing there for a couple years when he was really, really good. 90, 91, go up to get 98, 99.
Started Kinsler off with a breaking ball to get ahead 0-1. There's another one at the knees, 0-2.
Big sweeping breaking ball featured by Fernandez here this evening.
Reading an article on Fernandez who said that he's trying, or at least in spring training was concentrating on throwing more off-speed pitches, breaking balls, changeups to get quicker outs. There's a wave and a miss, and down goes Kinsler.
The one thing regarding these sliders is after you have Tommy John surgery, most pitching coaches, they don't want you to throw as many sliders early on when you're rehabbing and when you're coming back. And that's when he came back and started throwing lots of changeups, and now he has a really good changeup. Here's his pitch usage from last year. 4-seam fastballs, 50%, 32% sliders, 13% changeups, only 5% with the curveball. But he's thrown quite a few curveballs already here today.
You know, it's amazing. It seems like every guy, and this is true of every guy that has thrown hard in the history of the game, there comes a time where you're just not going to be able to do it. And so you do have to rely on your secondary stuff. But for Fernandez at age, 23, to be considering, mixing more of his off-speed stuff in, seems to put him ahead of the curve.
They asked him in spring training, how long do you want to pitch in the big leagues? He said about 11 or 12 years. They said, you know what, well, you got to take your foot off the gas pedal every now and then if you want to have that kind of longevity in baseball. That was just a fastball that he showed to Justin Upton at 97 up in the strike zone. He clearly wants to get back to the breaking ball that he struck him out with his very first at bat.
There it is, but he missed low. 2 balls, 2 strikes. He struck out the side in the first. He picked up 1 more in the second. Now 2 here in the third. Here's the 2-2. That breaking ball stayed up and in. Now he's gone full at 3-2.
We'll see how much confidence he really does have in that breaking ball here today, whether he throws Justin another breaking ball here on the 3-2 offering.
Fastball fouled away at 96.
Real Muto called for the slider, and Fernandez shook him off and went with the fastball.
Upton 2 for 7 in the series so far. Here's the breaking ball, and Upton just got a piece of it to stay alive. Of course, Fernandez has had streak on the line, 26 consecutive home starts without a loss to begin his career. But the Tigers have planted 2 on him here early on the Saltalamacchia home run. And down goes Upton. Strikes out the side for the second time. Your party at an upcoming Tigers game. Party suites and party areas are on sale now. Groups of 15 or more receive discounted tickets. 313-471-BALL is the phone number. Sanchez back to work, and he is facing a DET Echeverria. And then Jose Fernandez and D. Gordon. Glad to have you with us here this afternoon. The Tigers and the Marlins wrap up this 2-game series. There's a strike on the outer edge. Echeverria last night was 0 for 4. He also committed a couple of errors, so it was not an opening night that he wants to remember.
A couple of lackadaisical errors by Echeverria last night.
But as they say in baseball, there's always another game the next day.
Saltalamacchia really handling Sanchez well here and so far today. He's never really caught him that much. I mean, just a handful of times in spring training, but they haven't missed a beat today.
Echeverria last year batted .281, had a solid season offensively. Also had a really good spring, .383. Now Sanchez taking too long. Echeverria steps out. Tigers have turned a double play behind him today. It's in the air toward left center and down, a base hit. Echeverria with a line drive single, trying for 2. Here's the throw, and it's going to overshoot everybody, and it's backed up by Sanchez. That's going to be a double. Kinsler never even, I don't think, saw that ball or just realized I've got no shot to catch it. I mean, that thing just sailed over second base.
It's a good at bat here by Echeverria. It's a changeup that stays up in the strike zone. The Tigers outfielder is playing deep. Ghost plays a lot deeper these days than he did last year, and he had no shot at throwing Echeverria out. And Kinsler, like, where is that going?
Kinsler's like, dude, what are you doing? Here's Fernandez up there to bunt him up. Down to Castellanos, says he'll get the job done. Sacrifice, advances the runner to third. 1 away. That'll bring up D. Gordon. There were multiple times last night where it appeared the Tigers were on the verge of just blowing out the Marlins. They raced out to a 5-0 lead, and the Marlins just kept chipping away, and the Tigers rebuilt a 3-run lead in the 9th, and each time it was D. Gordon that was leading the comeback for the Marlins. He had 3 hits last night, including a pair of doubles and a triple. Oh, look out. And Gordon has a look at Sanchez, who threw it behind him.
And they want the fastball inside. That one just got away from Anibal. There's no way that Gordon thinks in this game, in the 3rd inning, Tigers up by 2 with a runner on 3rd, 1 out, that Sanchez would be trying to hit him.
I would hope not. Grounded foul.
D. Gordon said his final year when he played with the Los Angeles Dodgers, he got penalized for hitting balls in the air. He said they also wanted him to take a lot more pitches, and that's really not his MO. And when the Marlins made a trade for him and he spent the year in their uniform last year, they simply told him, swing the bat, go out and have some fun. And because of that, he went out and had his best year as a pro, but the Dodgers tried to change him.
To shallow left field, Iglesias back, up and in. Justin with another fine running play in left field. 2 gone.
And Justin made a lot of really nice plays in last night's game. As a matter of fact, he made one catch just like this one.
Here are the defensive numbers last year for Upton. He was a +8 in defensive runs saved, which was 5th among left fielders. Here's Osuna with 2 outs. Ball 1.
I saw something today that I did not realize. The Tigers have used 10 different left fielders for opening day the last 10 years. Did you know that?
No, and I saw that too, and I thought that's got to be wrong. An amazing stat.
It started with Simo back in 2007.
He was pretty good.
He was good. That's going to change now. And with Justin Upton being given the length on his contract, he will be there for the foreseeable future.
1 ball, 1 strike. Ball high. 2-1 on Osuna. He bounced out to the shortstop in his first at bat. Osuna's RBI numbers came down drastically last year from 85 to 47. In there, a strike call. 2-2. There you go. There's the difference between 14 and 15. Fairly dramatic all the way around. Just off the outside corner. Where was that?
Where was that, Kerwin? Danley.
And that was a whale of a pitch by Sanchez.
Especially when Sanchez has demonstrated the kind of command that he has had today.
And the 3-2. Line drive caught by the third baseman Castellanos. No runs, a leadoff double is stranded. Top of the 4th inning, we check in now with John Keeney with more on a former Tiger who's in town.
Yeah, when the Tigers are here, Mario, there's always familiar faces who pop by, and it was great to see the former Tiger Carlos Guillen in the Tigers clubhouse and on the bench in the dugout earlier today. He had a chance to visit with Avila, with whom you guys just visited. These days, he's running a baseball academy and runs a winter league team in his native Venezuela, but he's got a place here in South Florida. And we talked about 2006. It's now, can you believe it, guys, 10 years since the World Series team, and you'll hear from Carlos Guillen on that very topic on future editions of Tigers Live.
Keith, do you have a favorite Guillen memory? Mine is the home run against Jared Weaver in the
Jared Weaver has to be, yeah, the hop going down first base. It was something. What a day that was.
Yeah, what about you, Rod?
That's my favorite, too.
Yeah, that was the day that Verlander was hooked up against Weaver, and sweet sight at Comerica Park. Well, Miguel Cabrera starting things off here in the 4th, and J.D. Martinez, Nick Castellanos.
And Guillen also the last Detroit Tiger to hit for a cycle.
That's right. He did that against Tampa, I believe. Tampa, the Rays. 3-2 on Miggy.
That last fastball, 97 miles an hour to Miguel from Fernandez. This is a big league matchup right here.
Yeah, it is.
Power against power.
Cabrera banged that one off his foot. Count stays full. He struck out Cabrera back in the 1st inning. And Fernandez now has 7 strikeouts.
Pitch count not in bad shape for a guy that has that many punch outs. He's only thrown 56.
Got him, strike 3. Miguel Cud looking. 8 strikeouts now for Fernandez.
His stuff is lethal. Anytime you've got 97, 98, and then you have the ability to throw a breaking ball in the 3-2 count to the best hitter in baseball, and you freeze him, you know his stuff is very good.
That's drilled to center field. It's going to hang up long enough, though.
That was an absolute missile hit there by J.D. Martinez. He has hit the ball so hard in this series, and he has very little to show for it, Mario.
Yeah, 2 of them last night that could have gone out and did not. And there you see the 8 strikeouts that Fernandez. That is, aside from the Saltalamacchia home run, one of the hardest hit balls the Tigers have put together today. But it's a good sign. I mean, JD's not getting the knocks right now, but the contact is solid.
JD was joking with me when I walked into the clubhouse last night. He said, "I don't have much power." I said, "Yes, you do."
Wow.
Something else Fernandez is doing, man. He's getting ahead of these Tigers. He is now 11 of 14 in first pitch strikes.
Castellanos flied out to right field, his only time up. Bends in nicely.
Tigers have always been a real good fastball team. Even though Fernandez has a great fastball, most of his strikeouts here today have come on breaking balls. .98 miles an hour has been the top fastball thrown by Jose. He's gone as low as 72.
Fernandez, we mentioned, had the Tommy John 2 years ago. When he came back last year, that average fastball velocity was still almost 97 miles an hour. It didn't really take him much time to rebuild that arm strength. Now, he did miss 14 months. That's the amount of time it took him to come back. But he looks as good as new. Swing and a miss. And he carved him up. 9 strikeouts for Jose Fernandez. Here come the Marlins in the bottom of the 4th inning. Tigers on top by a score of 2-0. Get a chance to hang out at the beach today, Rod?
Not today.
No.
Early start today.
Yeah, early start today. It is. It's been nice here the past couple of days. Tigers hoping to skip town with a couple of victories against the Marlins. And Sanchez goes back to work now. It'll be Yelich, Stanton, and Prado. These are the 3, 4, and 5 hitters for Don Mattingly. Sanchez delivers strike one.
Anibal knew he'd have very little margin for error this afternoon, going up against one of the best right-handed pitchers in baseball, Jose Fernandez, and so far he has been up for the challenge. A lot of real good fastballs, 4 quadrants of the strike zone, 89 to 91. Hasn't thrown that many breaking balls, but he's been able to spot that fastball.
Gave up a bunt single and hit a batter in the first, but no damage. Got a double play in the second. And then the Marlins got a leadoff double in the third, but failed to score him. 1-2 on Yelich. First rounder back in 2010 of the Marlins for at least a couple of seasons after he joined the organization, was their top prospect. Spent a couple of stints on the DL last year. And again the 1-2. But high. Giancarlo Stanton will follow, and then Martin Prado. For the second baseman Kinsler. Quick throw is in time for the out. One away. It's April in the D in downtown Detroit when the Tigers home opener. Join Fox Sports Detroit this Friday for all of your Tigers coverage beginning at 11 a.m. Yours truly, along with Rod and Kirk and the entire Fox Sports Detroit crew, bring you all the Tigers home opener excitement this Friday, 11 a.m. only on Fox Sports Detroit.
That's going to be a pretty good pitching matchup as well. Jordan Zimmerman getting his first start as a Tiger, going up against that really young, talented Luis Severino.
Yeah, looking forward to that. Here's the breakdown on Sanchez. What do you make of the Yankees this year? I'm trying to figure out what kind of club they're going to be, because they do have a couple of pretty good young players that they're kind of filtering into their lineup now, but by and large they are still a veteran club.
I think they're going to be pretty good. I mean, the biggest thing with them is health, obviously.
Chop to the shortstop, Iglesias.
They're going to start the season with Aroldis Chapman serving a suspension, but once he gets healthy, that back end of the bullpen with Betances and Miller and Chapman will be second to none. So their starters really will not have to go 7 innings on most nights, because I'm sure that Joe Girardi will be able to maneuver his way around with those 3 to make sure that he keeps them fresh and their starters don't have too much pressure on them. And then you have a team that has a pretty good offense. I mean, they've got Gardner, they got Ellsbury, they got Teixeira, they have A-Rod, who had a really good year last year. It's a decent team.
Prado looks at a strike.
I know CC Sabathia is also going to get a start against the Tigers that Saturday afternoon game, and I thought he was going to be pitching out of the bullpen for them this year.
Yeah, me too. Here's the 0-1. 1 ball, 1 strike. I would say that 7-8-9 combination the Yankees have now is better than the back end of the Royals.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, it's just that good. Prado looks at a ball that skips inside. 2 balls, 1 strike.
It's one of the things that we've noticed in the industry the last number of years, that there are so many teams that are building the back ends of their bullpen to help out and take pressure off of their rotations.
The 2-1. It's down the right field line, slicing foul. Well, there you go. Chapman is suspended for 30 games, so we know we won't see him, and that's good.
But look at their Ks per 9. 14 strikeouts per 9 innings for Betances last year. Over that for Miller, and then you have the closer in Chapman, who struck out 15, nearly 16 batters per 9 last season. He struck out 43% of the people, nearly half the people he faced last year.
That's up and in to Prado. Full count now, 3-2. Well, it gets back to the point you were making in the broadcast last night, Rod, when the Tigers trotted out their 7th and 8th inning guys, and Wilson and Lowe, guys that can miss bats, and at that juncture of the game, that is so critical.
For sure. I mean, you'd like to have some guys, if you need a big strikeout late in the game, you can get that strikeout versus a guy that's a contact guy that you know the opposition's going to be able to put the ball in play against.
Two out, nobody on. We're in the 4th. And he got him. Strike 3. Prado caught looking in a 1-2-3 inning for Sanchez. Top of the 5th inning.
Let's take a look at the Jimmy John's freaky fast delivery of the game. Jared Saltalamacchia in his first at bat as a Detroit Tiger went down and got a breaking ball, and he has gotten the only hit here today against Jose Fernandez, a 2-run shot.
And it's enough to give the Tigers a 2-0 lead as Sanchez has done the rest.
He might not see that breaking ball again here today.
Defensively, they are shifting to the right side. There you have it. It is Echeverria, the shortstop, in short right field.
They've taken Prado, the third baseman, and moved him to the second base position. They've taken D. Gordon and moved him out here into the outfield.
That is rolled foul.
And the reason for that is Prado, he is a second baseman by trade, so he's can handle that position a lot better than the shortstop position.
Well, the shifts were really employed a whole lot more last year than they were the year before that. You see that each of the last 4 years they have jumped up. Strike called, and out on strikes this time is Saltalamacchia.
If you notice, really, in last night's game, the Miami Marlins really didn't shift all that much. There's a few guys they shift against. Saltalamacchia didn't play, obviously, and the Tigers are a team that really does not shift all that much either. Against certain left-handers that are dead pull hitters, but not all that often.
You were touching on this earlier. Fernandez now has thrown 67 pitches and he has 10 strikeouts. You don't normally see that.
Well, he's not messing around. I mean, once he gets ahead of the Tigers, no balls and 2 strikes, he's not wasting any pitches. He's continuing to come right after them. His stuff is electric.
Iglesias is 0 for 1. It'll dive low and away. 2 balls, 1 strike on Iglesias. Anthony Ghost will bat next. 9 straight retired by Fernandez. Fernandez has struck out the side twice in this game. drops that one in beautifully. Iglesias, all he can do is shake his head. 3-2.
He throws one pitch at 97, then he comes back with a breaking ball at 83 miles an hour. Same arm speed, same arm slot.
Slice to center field, base hit. So 1-out single for Iglesias. Well, Menards brings you the big money encounter. We're talking about the superlatives for Jose Fernandez, and there certainly have been a lot, but the most important thing, though, is his record here at home.
Outstanding. And that's no small sample. 26 starts at home, hasn't lost.
Tigers trying to plant that first L on him here today. They lead 2-0. Goes a strikeout victim in the second.
Iglesias talking to the first base umpire, Andy Fletcher. He noticed that Fernandez really didn't stop that last time, and he pointed it out to Andy Fletcher. Make sure he stops.
Now it's 0-2 on Ghost. I asked Anthony today if the home run he hit last night was the longest one he has hit. He said he doesn't think so, because the right field overhang makes it look like it's farther than it really is. And Ghost said he thinks the longest one he has hit was at Fenway Park a couple of years ago against Andrew Bailey. They cleared the bullpen at right field. 1-2. Fastball up. 2 balls, 2 strikes now on Ghost. Pitcher spot is next. Anibal Sanchez waiting in the on-deck circle. Iglesias has singled here in the 5th inning with 1 out. And he missed outside, and now Ghost has run the count full, 3-2. You start him up here?
Absolutely.
Got the pitcher spot due next. See if Ghost can find a gap.
But if you're Iglesias, you have to treat this like a steal. You can't be banking on Ghost making contact.
Runner holds and a bouncing ball toward first base, or will take the out at first. Runner advances, 2 gone.
Have to ask Brad, but don't know for sure. But the main reason why he probably did not start Iglesias there is the fact that the kid already has 10 strikeouts.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, he has overmatched the Tigers at times here today. There's a man in scoring position now for Sanchez. Hannibal is a hitter career. Came in at 090. And he pours in a fastball strike at 95. Sanchez tried to drop down a bunt. 0-2. That'll bring a grin to the face of Fernandez. Sanchez in his career, we mentioned he bats just .090, but he does have a double and triple to his credit. He's also knocked in 7 over the years, and of course batting a lot less now that he's in the American League as opposed to his days with the Marlins. And he'll take strike 3. Inning is over. 11 punch outs. Tigers baseball presented by Bell Tire. Sports Detroit is brought to you by Chevrolet. More than you expect for less than you imagine. And by Bell Tire. Get the lowest tire price, period. Bell Tire. Back here in Miami, where the Tigers are still holding on to their 2-0 lead. It has been 2-0 since the second, when Saltalamacchia hit a 2-run homer. Anibal Sanchez has kept the Marlins off the board so far. And we'll see if that continues here in the 5th inning. It'll be Justin Bour, JT Realmuto, and Danny Echeverria. 59 pitches for Mr. Sanchez. No walks. Only 3 hits. Here's Justin Bour. He struck out in his only at bat. Bour now is 1 for 5 in the brand new season. Here's the 1-0 pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Outstanding changeup, fading down and away from Bour, who has not thrown many changeups today.
Tigers shifting against Bour.
He has been able to command that fastball.
Swing and a miss. 1 out.
Let's take a look at the adjustment that Sanchez made this year. Here's last year. Look how far he turns the back to the hitter. You can see his entire number. And because he struggled with the home run ball last year, they kind of changed it up a little bit. He's not as rotational with the hits. Here's a real good look at him. You can see the entire 19 on the left. And then today you can see that he's much more straight with that front shoulder. And he's been able to throw that ball downhill, and he's been able to command his fastball and his breaking balls because of that adjustment that was made by Rich Doobie, the pitching coach. And Jeff Jones also was in camp this year. He also wanted Anibal Sanchez to make this change last year, but Anibal didn't really want to do it mid-season.
Did they feel that that over-rotation caused him to leave balls up, and that's why the home runs were up?
You're absolutely right, because a lot of times when you uncoil, when you come out of that, when you turn your back toward the hitter, especially when you're struggling like Sanchez was struggling last year, you try to do too much. You try to overthrow, and his arm was never catching up. Therefore, a lot of the balls were left up in the strike zone. I really like the delivery here today. But I have to admit to you, I really like the other delivery, too. I thought it had a lot of deception to it.
Yeah, and I love the deception part. But you can't argue with the results. And last year, the results just were not very good. Echeverria is hitting with 2 outs. 2 balls, no strikes on the shortstop, who doubled in the 3rd. The best scoring chance the Marlins had, a leadoff double, but they got him as far as 3rd base. That was it. On 3-0. The pitcher due next, Jose Fernandez. Oh. 3-1. Swing and a miss. Now 3-2 on Echeverria. That's fouled straight back. Echeverria coming off a really good spring camp, 383. He was one of the key players the Marlins received back a couple of years ago, and they made that big trade with Toronto, the Burley and Jose Reyes deal. And again, the 3-2 is outside. He lost it. It'll be a 2-out walk, and it'll bring up the number 9 hitter, Jose Fernandez. He sacrificed in his only at bat.
He's a good hitter. You have to be careful with Jose Fernandez. He was not a real good hitter when he first came to the big leagues, but he's turned himself into a decent hitter.
A little bit outside, 1 ball, no strikes on Fernandez. He's trying to help himself out here. Should he reach, D. Gordon is next. Well, now the count goes to 2-0.
It's a nice visit here by Saltalamacchia. He fell behind Echeverria, and 3 balls, no strikes before walking him on the 3-2 pitch. And he was falling behind the pitcher. Here, 2 balls and no strikes. And therefore, a visit needed by Saltalamacchia.
Here's the 2-0. Did he go? Negative. Now it's 3-0. There's only been 1 inning so far. The Marlins have not had a base runner. Swing and a miss. He was swinging on 3-0.
When is the last time
Never.
you've seen a pitcher swing 3 balls and no strikes? Come on, Don Mattingly.
Never seen that. I mean, I'm sure it's happened. Now it's 3-2, and Fernandez a little bit upset with himself.
Boy, he got a fastball right down the middle.
Boy, did he. We're thankful that was not in English either.
You're a lip reader now, huh?
Yeah, it wasn't good. You could hear him on our crowd mic. 3-2 pitch, and he lost in ball 4. So Fernandez gets the walk, back-to-back base on balls. And a 2-out threat now for the Marlins. Hey, this week only T-Mobile customers can get a free season-long subscription to MLB.tv Premium. Go to T-Mobile.com/MLB to sign up now and catch every moment on America's fastest-growing LTE network. Rich Doobie is out. His first appearance of the year. He didn't make the trip out last night, I don't think.
No, he did not.
So Rich getting some airtime now. Tigers' new pitching coach. Well, here is Gordon now with the tying runs on the bases. Up to 77 now for Sanchez, but by and large, those numbers are pretty good. Here is Drew Verhagen beginning at 2-0 now in the Detroit bullpen. Gordon has a bunt single and a flyout. And he drives this one in the air to center. Anthony Gose is under it to retire the side. No runs, couple of walks. 2 men left. We're in Miami, so we got to show you a Dolphin for the football. To start things off for the Tigers, they lead 2-0 as we go to the 6th inning here in Miami. Here's the Chevy Silverado most dependable players. And we want to talk about players with at least 4 RBIs on an opening day since 1920. Here are some of the Tigers that turned the feet, including Kinsler last night. The meat hook was the last one to do it.
He was a 3-homer day, wasn't he?
That was a 3-homer day in 05. And I think it was like 70 degrees on opening day. It was awesome. Gibby's on that list with his typical scowl. This had me at 5 RBI day. There's a breaking ball strike on Kinsler. He's going to get me back on opening day. I know it.
You know it.
Yep. Be ready. Kinsler up then at Cabrera. Ball high. 1 ball, 1 strike. The top 3 in the Tigers lineup against Fernandez tonight. 6 at bats, 6 strikeouts. Yet the Tigers lead 2-0. That one sails low. 2-1. Hammered to right field, slicing, and it's going to drop, base hit. So Kinsler is aboard, leadoff single here in the 6th.
It's a really good at bat here by Kinsler. He worked the count to his favor, 2 balls and 1 strike. He knew he was going to get a fastball, but take a look at the approach. He didn't try to pull the fastball. He stayed with it long, knowing that as hard as Fernandez throws, it's hard to get out in front of that baseball and pull it. He slices it down in the right field corner.
The Tigers have just posted their 3rd hit of the game. Here's Justin Upton, who's had a couple of strikeouts. Shows bunt, strike 1. Fernandez was a National League All-Star and Rookie of the Year back in 2013 when he was 12-6. And not even Tommy John's surgery has been able to slow him down. That time Upton laid off the breaking ball.
Going to be very, very difficult for anybody, even Anthony Ghost, who's probably the fastest Tiger, to steal a base here with Fernandez. He's about 1-1 getting the ball out of his hand into the glove of the catcher. And Real Muto, in case you're interested, he threw out 26% of the base runners last year.
Ooh, Rosen. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
So Upton now with 12 career at bats against Fernandez, and he's punched him out 9 times.
He has. And I'm sad to report that it's 1 and 2 in this at bat. And another strikeout, it appeared. He went around. 3 strikeouts today for Justin Upton, and 12 of them now for Fernandez.
This is one of those types of matchups, Fernandez and Upton. If they were in the Tigers division and they played a little bit more, it would simply be an off day for Justin.
Yep. Fernandez flew. So here's Cabrera. Miggy has not had much success to this point. 2 strikeouts.
None.
But as we know with Miguel, that can change in the blink of an eye. Swing and a miss. 93 on the gun there. Fernandez in that first inning was 97, 98. His first pitch strike count now is 16 of 21. Miguel was just 20 years old when he made his debut as a rookie for the Marlins. Wow, to hit .313 career with Miami. Off the end of the bat foul.
He was wearing number 20 back in those days with a game-winning home run. June 20th, 2003.
You see how wide open his stance was?
I did see that.
Interesting.
Miguel and
Ooh, then the old pie.
Josh Beckett.
He says thank you and walks away. Here's the 1-2, and it's lined to right field, base hit. Kinsler will go to second. He will stop there. And the Tigers have something going now.
I noticed this in last night's game as well. A lot of the Tigers hitters, the right-handed batters, and it's a heavy dose of right-handed batters, they don't necessarily try to pull the ball. JD Martinez, Kinsler up to the ball in that direction. Miggy climbs the ladder and gets a 95-mile-per-hour fastball and hits a seed the other way. Most guys have a difficult time of barreling that particular ball up. I was telling you, Miguel wore number 20 back in those days when he was a rookie, and number 24 was worn by Tony Perez, who still works for the organization. We saw him out watching batting practice in last night's game, and Miguel wanted number 24, and Tony Perez told him at the time, well, you've got to show me a little bit more if you want my number. It took Miguel about 2 months to get 24.
It didn't take long, did it? He showed him a little bit more and then some.
Of course, Tony Perez is one of the best RBI men in the history of the game. Boy, could he hit.
Here's the 1-0 to JD, who fouls it back 1-1.
Yesterday at the batting cage, they had Tony Perez, they had Andre Dawson, they had Don Mattingly, they had Barry Bonds all around the batting cage.
Wow. Tony Perez, big red machine,
nicknamed Doggy.
I never knew that.
Yeah.
Here's the 1-1. JD couldn't pull the trigger. 1-2. Well, the strikeouts so far for Jose Fernandez. Missed with it, 2-2. So this next one will be his 100th pitch of the afternoon. Castellanos waiting on deck. Swing and a miss. Got in on his hands. Down he goes. That's 13 strikeouts. There has been some action as the pitch count starts to grow. Dustin McGowan has been warming up. Here's the total by inning. Last season, the strikeout high in a single game for Fernandez was 11 against Arizona. He has surpassed that in this game with 13. Fourth career start with 13 or more. And I'm sure he'll have a few more before it's over.
I'm kind of glad he didn't pitch on opening night with 36,000 people in attendance. He would have had this place rocking.
He would have. There's Castellanos looking at a strike 0-1. Nick out in that front foot, could not pull the trigger. Fly ball and a strikeout for Castellanos. His 15 home runs last year and 73 RBIs were career highs. That's just foul down the first base line. 0-2 the count. Hey, just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, look forward to Miller Time later in today's game, brought to you by Miller Lite. So it's 0-2 on Castellanos.
You've said that a lot today. 0-2.
Yeah, to a lot of different hitters. Now Fernandez trying to finish him off. Way high, overthrew that fastball at 94.
This is the 11th 0-2 count that Fernandez has had against the Tigers here today. 11.
Fly ball toward right. To the corner it comes. Stanton will run out of real estate. Should Castellanos reach, Saltalamacchia would be next, and Salty is responsible for the 2-0 Tigers lead with his home run earlier in the game. Here's the 1-2. And Castellanos, good job of just flinging that one back to the screen, fought it off. Well, that's pretty impressive. 39 pitches tonight of 95 or more.
He's thrown a total of 105.
Hasn't been afraid to throw that breaking ball either, though.
In any count.
There's the 1-2. There it is. In the air toward left center field. And that ball is going to get down and go to the warning track. 1 run is in. Kinsler scoring on the plate. At third base goes Cabrera, and the Tigers have a 3-0 lead.
It's got to be it for Fernandez. Don Mattingly can't afford to allow him to go much further. What an at-bat by Castellanos.
You're not kidding.
It's a sweeping breaking ball that stays up in the strike zone. Looked like some miscommunication between Yelich and Ozuna in the outfield.
Yeah, they both started coasting, and it looked like Ozuna might be able to get there, but it just dropped. And that's going to be it for Jose Fernandez. It is a wall side windows pitching change. The Marlins go to the bullpen, and we'll be back. As we play here in the 6th inning, they've knocked Jose Fernandez out of this game, and here are his numbers here tonight.
He was outstanding. He only walked 1, he punched out 13, but he's given up 3 runs, and he stands to lose his first game ever in this ballpark.
Well, he's going to hand things over to the bullpen now. Dustin McGowan will take over.
We saw Dustin last night, and he pitched well. Those are his numbers last year with Philadelphia. 6.94 earned run average, which is one of the reasons why he had to change locations. But he's got a fastball that gets up to 94, 95. He's a former starter, so he has the other off-speed pitches to go along with that fastball.
He's had a couple of shoulder surgeries in his career back in his Toronto Blue Jays days. Jared Saltalamacchia stands in, trying to bust this one open a little bit. 3-0 Detroit. Bouncing ball to first base, foul.
Huge hole on the right side of the infield. Dee Gordon, their second baseman, is in the outfield. Echeverria, the shortstop, directly behind second base. So if he can get out in front of one of these fastballs that McGowan is featuring, or a breaking ball, he can drive in a couple big runs here.
Tried to hold up, unable to do so, and the count is 0-2. Castellanos had a couple of nice at-bats in this series. Had that sac fly after falling behind 0-2 last night, and now a key double here in the sixth.
That's right.
Now we'll see if Saltalamacchia can pile on here. McGowan ready with the 0-2. And he drills one deep to right field. That ball is up, and that ball is against the wall. 2 runs will score. Saltalamacchia will go to second. He's got a double, and the Tigers lead 5-0. What a day for Saltalamacchia.
That's a 91-mile-per-hour fastball at the top of the strike zone that Saltalamacchia got out in front of and nearly hit his second home run of the game. He drilled that ball off the gate. Some big 2-out knocks here in this inning for the Tigers.
One by Castellanos and now one by Saltalamacchia. 5-0 Tigers, a 4 RBI day for Saltalamacchia. Iglesias is 1 for 2, had a single against Fernandez in the 5th.
In 26 starts in this ballpark for Jose Fernandez, we told you at the top of the show he had never lost here. 17-0, but in 26 starts, 27 counting today, he'd only given up 5 runs more than one time. He gave up 6 runs once here. So what the Tigers have been able to do here today against him just does not happen very often.
Yep, if ever. Very rarely, but it's a former Marlin that has done the majority of the damage. Saltalamacchia. The ironic thing is that the Marlins this year are paying the majority of Saltalamacchia's salary because they released him last year. So you talk about salt in the wounds.
Wow.
Here's the 3-1 pitch. Outside, he lost in ball 4. That's the second time Iglesias has reached. 2 on now and 2 outs. Well, buy one ticket, get one free to see the Tigers battle the Yankees on Sunday, April 10th at 8 p.m. Lower baseline box and upper box seats are buy one, get one free. To purchase, visit tigers.com/BOGO. BOGO. Buy one, get one. Here is Anthony Gose. Ball high. Strikeout, ground out for Gose in this game. Those 2 at bats against Fernandez. Now Juan Nieves comes running out, the pitching coach. McGowan has come on to give up a 2-run double and now walked a batter. Despite a 13 strikeout effort today from Marlins starter Jose Fernandez, the Tigers have a nice lead here, 5-0.
One of the new rules in baseball this year is the pitching coach or the manager, once they go out and leave the dugout, they get 30 seconds and to say whatever they're going to say to the pitcher that's on the mound. And then once it gets about 25 seconds, the umpires, they start to casually walk out to the mound to make sure that they abide by the rules.
All part of the pace of play initiative that Major League Baseball has kind of put together the last couple of years to speed up the game.
I think they were able to shave maybe, what, 4 or 5 minutes off games last year?
A few more than that. I think it was 5 or 6. But, you know, it's progress. Not a lot, but still. swing and a miss. Anthony goes behind 1-2. There's action in the Detroit bullpen. Kyle Ryan, the lefty. Drew Verhagen, the righty.
It's been a real lengthy sit down for Anibal Sanchez. They might be entertaining the thought of taking him out of the game. You don't know, but if they do, I'm sure it'll probably be because he has been sitting down for quite a while here.
Sanchez waiting on deck. Anibal has thrown 78 pitches in this game.
And both of these clubs had dipping into their bullpens quite a bit in last night's game, but everybody's still available on both sides.
And now another visit out to the mound. This is the 8th man to bat in the inning. It all started with an Ian Kinsler single off Jose Fernandez. That's the kind of quality the Tigers have in their lineup. We mentioned that the top 3 were 0 for 6 with 6 strikeouts coming into this inning, but they've gotten a couple of big hits, one by Kinsler, one by Cabrera. 2-2 on Ghost. There's more action in the bullpen for the Miami Marlins. Chris Narverson's warming up. Another foul back out of play. So Ghost continues to battle. Slow roller toward third base. Prado has no play. Infield hit. Bases are loaded. 0 chance with the speed of Anthony Ghost. So Sanchez will hit. Which means he'll get another inning. Anibal is 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts. Threw it by him, 0-1. They are loaded up with Tigers. Saltalamacchia, Iglesias, and Ghost. That was the 40th pitch of this inning for Marlins pitching. It's an inning in which Fernandez was knocked out of this game. And his winning streak hangs in the balance. Here's the 1-1. 2 balls and 1 strike. Well, it seems like Sanchez would not be able to handle a mid-90s fastball. And now McGowan has fallen behind. Here's the 2-1. He saws that one off right back to the mound. Should get him out of the inning, and it will. But it's a big inning for the Tigers. They add 3 more runs, and they go up 5-0. The bottom of the 6th, and with a preview of the upcoming Yankee series this weekend, let's check in with John Keating.
Mario, the forecast high for Friday for opening day has zoomed all the way up to 46 degrees. It was in the mid-30s last weekend, so thank heavens for small favors. It'll be Jordan Zimmermann who starts on Friday, and as you know, he's from Wisconsin. He told me the story earlier this afternoon. When he was pitching at Wisconsin-Stevens Point in college, the general manager of the Washington Nationals, Mike Rizzo, was scouting him. He said it was snowing sideways then, which you would think would give the pitcher a bit of an advantage, but Zimmermann back then was still throwing 94-95. It'll be Zimmermann, Pelfrey, and then Verlander on the weekend against the Yankees. Should be great fun, as it always is in the first weekend in Motown. Guys,
you gonna bust out the fur coat, Keats?
I'm gonna wear everything I have. There'll be a turtleneck. There'll be stuff under the turtleneck, and we won't go any deeper than that.
Attaboy, you're a trooper.
Well, yeah. Zimmermann should have no problem pitching on Friday in 46-degree weather.
Sanchez goes back to work, and he's got himself a nice healthy lead now, 5-0. Yep, Jordan should be used to that cool weather, so hopefully the Tigers a little adjustment to their rotation with Sanchez here tonight, and Zimmermann Friday will pay dividends.
And Tigers, from an offensive standpoint, have done exactly what they needed to do here in the first couple of days in South Florida, where they left Lakeland and came right down here to some nice warm weather.
Ozuna batting here to lead things off in the bottom of the 6th inning, and he waves and misses. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Marcell Ozuna. Yelich and Giancarlo Stanton to follow. Here's the 2-2 delivery. A little bit outside, 3-2. Sanchez last year was 10-10, but it was the ERA that was not Sanchez-like. 4.99 last year, and this from a guy that won the ERA title a few years back. He won it back in 2013. His ERA was 2.57, and I still maintain that 2013 team, Rod, was probably the best one the Tigers have had in recent history.
Yeah, that team was outstanding.
Checked it inside. Ball 4 and the leadoff man on. Well, April in the D is here, and bobbleheads are back. And this year they're vintage. This year you can check out your favorite Lions, Pistons, Red Wings, and Tigers bobbleheads at the North Terminal of the Detroit Metro Airport. For a full list of locations of all the bobbleheads, please visit www.aprilinthed.com.
Those are emoji bobbleheads, right?
Yeah, pretty cool looking too. Did you know that the that whole bobblehead section here is pretty impressive?
They say they're not emoji bobbleheads, but they sure look like it.
Yeah, they look like it though. Here's the bobblehead museum. Bobbleheads were probably pre-Rod Allen playing days. Their playing days were pre-bobbleheads, weren't they?
They were.
Yeah. There's a strike call.
We're still working on a couple, though, you and I.
We'll get there.
I don't know, 14 years in now. And our people sponsor those things, too.
If you ain't made it by now, it doesn't look good.
I'll talk to Hammer about that.
Yeah, we got to get him on that. So 2-1 now on Yelich.
One thing that hasn't changed with Sanchez is the fact he's still getting quite a bit of run support. Got a lot of run support last year, and the Tigers offense has backed him up again here today.
They got him 2 early on the home run by Saltalamacchia. They added 3 more in the 6th. Drilled to right field. That ball is going to get down up against the wall. Ozuna going to third base. He's in there standing up. Going to be a double for Christian Yelich. And the Marlins threaten here in the 6th. And that's going to be it, it appears, for Mr. Sanchez. Brad Ausmus hopping out of the dugout.
It's a fastball right down the middle that Yelich absolutely turns on.
And Brad wants the right-hander. So it's a wall side windows pitching change. We'll be back to Marlins Park.
day 2 for the Detroit Tigers. Really kept the ball out in the middle of the plate all afternoon long. Spotted that fastball beautifully. Got some help on a double play ball. Pitched to a lot of contact. Did not need many strikeouts. He had 3 of those. 1 on a fastball and a breaking ball and a changeup. But what I was really impressed with the fact that he really used all of his pitches today.
Here are the numbers on Sanchez. 5+ innings, 4 hits, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts. The 2 men on the bases still his responsibility. So his line is not final yet. In the meantime, Drew Verhagen is on. And he's got to face Giancarlo Stanton with 2 men in scoring position. Stanton swings on the first and skies it to right. JD will handle it. This will get a run in. Throw comes back in toward third. Sac fly RBI for Stanton. And the Marlins are on the board. That run charged to Sanchez. A 5-1 ball game. Here's Martin Prado. Strikeout and a single in this game here tonight. Verhagen missing outside. Drew's numbers this spring really weren't all that good, but I think based on what he did in the month of September in the big leagues last year, Rod, really kind of paved the way for him.
You know, that and the fact that a couple of other Tigers landed on the disabled list. I'm not saying he wouldn't have made the team anyway, but that kind of aided in him also making the squad. The fact that Wilson and Hardy.
That fly ball to right is handled again by Martinez. Here comes the throw to third. He is not in time. In there safely is Yelich. Man, good throw.
What a throw by JD. Man, has he turned himself to a really good right fielder.
Gold Glove finalist last year, and Brad Ausmus wants to perhaps take another look at that to see if they challenge.
He got behind it, he grabbed it and threw a clothesline over to third base and nearly got a fast runner in Yelich. Country Joe right there.
Just ahead of the throw. 15 assists. Tied for 4th most in the majors last year. I think Robert Fick had more than 20 in 2002. The last time a Tigers right fielder had that many assists. Here's Justin Bour. Bour struck out against Sanchez in the 5th, also back in the 2nd. One ball, 1 strike. Edwin Jackson is warming up in the Miami bullpen.
Edwin threw the ball outstanding last night. A lot of life on his fastball. Former Tiger. Former with a lot of teams, though, for Edwin.
That is true. Former's his middle name. That's going to get a run in. Base hit down the third base line. Bour trying for 2. And the throw is off target. It gets away from Kinsler, but backed up. Bour gets an RBI. Yelich able to score. 5-2 ball game. This is what we saw last night. The Tigers raced out to a 5-0 lead, and then the Marlins chipped away.
They overshift on Bour, and this is the 2nd time in the series where he's hit a ball right down third base. Last night was a single. Today it's a double.
First RBI of the season for Bour. Tiger lead down to 3. Here is JT Realmuto. Chop toward third, foul.
Did I just hear them say an error on that play?
It's a base hit, RBI E7.
What are they thinking about?
I don't know. He was going all the way.
Oh, that's a bad call.
His throw was off target, but he was going all the way.
Yeah, that's a bad call. That'll be changed.
Ball high. Once the ball got by Kinsler, it was backed up by Cabrera, but it didn't matter because Bohr was all the way to second base. It's not like he moved up on the throw. Here's the 1-1. Chopper back up the middle. Iglesias. That'll end the inning, but the Marlins get 2 back. Seventh here in Miami, and you can follow Tigers baseball live with the MLB.com at Bat app. Stay up to the moment at any moment with the game day, live game video, highlights, StatCast, news, and more. Download MLB.com at Bat. It's the #1 app for live baseball on your phone or tablets. Looks like Edwin Jackson is coming on now for the Miami Marlins.
Edwin Jackson, former starter, has all 4 pitches: fastball, curveball, slider, and the changeup. Ball was coming out of his hand nicely in last night's game. He got all the way up to 95. Pitched 1 inning, had 1 strikeout.
Former Dodger, former Tampa Bay Ray, former Tiger, Diamondback, National, Cardinal, Cubs, Atlanta. Top of the order coming up. It's Ian Kinsler here in the 7th. And he looks at ball 1. Jackson may have played with as many teams as Octavio Dotel.
How many did Dotel have? About 13?
About 45, I think, last count. There's a ball inside and high. 2-0. Kinsler, Upton, Cabrera.
Kinsler, dangerous fastball hitter. He's always been that since coming to the big leagues.
Jackson now will wait for Real Muto to reshuffle the sign. Got the numbers on those 2 relievers. There's a high fly ball to left. Christian Yelich is under it. 1 gone. Dotel played for 13 different teams and Edwin Jackson 10 different teams.
Ian Kinsler kind of kicking himself as he walks back to the Tigers dugout because he was sitting in a 2-0 count, but Jackson just continued to shake off the catcher, Real Muto. Kinsler, in the back of his mind, may have thought he was going to get something off speed, and therefore he was a little late on that fastball.
The happiest guy in this ballpark to see Fernandez out of this game is Justin Upton. He struck out 3 times against him. Jackson sails a fastball high. Upton himself is a former Diamondback. The first overall pick of the Diamondbacks back in 2005. Breaking ball drops in for a strike. 1-1 on Justin. One and two. Jackson, you might recall, had that no-hitter that he threw with the Diamondbacks. It was an 8-walk no-hitter, which I'm pretty sure had never been done before. Go out on the limb there. It was back in 2010. He faced 36 batters in that no-hitter.
I think he threw over 150 pitches in that game.
Yeah, and it was getting to the point where it was getting a little bit dicey when you have a pitcher throw that many, but he's got the no-hitter intact. Here's the 2-2. Jackson last year splitting time with the Cubs and Atlanta. Low and away, 3 balls, 2 strikes. Justin Upton. Cabrera will follow. We're in the 7th, 5-2 in favor of the Tigers. Tigers have an off day tomorrow. The Marlins, meanwhile, have a day game against the Nationals in D.C. So this late start is not benefiting them. Shot toward the gap in left center field. That'll get down. Upton is on his way to second. And the throw to the bag, not in time. 2-base hit for Justin Upton.
Is that going to be an error too on Yelich?
I hope not.
It's a good at bat here by Justin, and he finally gets himself a fastball inside and turns on it in the left center field. He's got a really quick bat. Yelich doesn't have a great throwing arm, but he gets the balls in a hurry, and he's got a pretty quick release. You're talking about the Tigers will have a day off tomorrow. It's always nice, speaking from a former player standpoint, that you always want to get to that new city. The Tigers have a lot of new players on their team. You want to get acclimated. You want to get there. You want to try to get your place together. And it's always nice to have that one day off to do so.
Yeah, especially early in the season, coming back from spring training. The new guys really haven't settled into the Motor City yet, and they will. They'll get that opportunity tomorrow, then crank it up against the Yankees on Friday.
Because they play every day after that. I mean, once they have the day off on Thursday, they play every single day until they leave for Pittsburgh.
They're walking Cabrera intentionally. Don't want to deal with him with first base open. And there's ball 4. 2 on, 1 out. Hey, this week only, T-Mobile customers can get a free season-long subscription to MLB.TV Premium. Go to T-Mobile.com/MLB to sign up now and catch every moment on America's fastest-growing LTE network. Well, let's see if J.D. Martinez can make him pay. Double by Upton, intentional walk to Cabrera. Ball 1 low.
So the Tigers will have a day off after Pittsburgh, but they actually don't get the day off until after the 3-game series in Houston. So once they get the day off on Thursday, they will play 10 days in a row. But the point I was making is the fact that they didn't have another off day at home.
Those are huge. There are off days and there are off days at home.
It's a wise decision by Don Mattingly to put Miguel Cabrera on first base. For one reason, he knows that Miguel is very capable of driving in Justin Upton from second base, but also he wants to give Edwin Jackson an opportunity to throw a ground ball here with J.D. Martinez standing in the batter's box.
Miggy last year walked intentionally 15 times. Goldschmidt 29 to lead baseball.
That's the National League style of baseball versus the American League style of baseball. And also Goldschmidt doesn't have anybody hitting behind him that's the caliber of a JD Martinez or a Victor Martinez. Therefore Miguel gets pitched to quite a bit more than some of the other guys because of the dangerous bats the Tigers have in their lineup.
Here's the 1-2. Martinez in this game, a walk and a run scored. He's also hit an absolute missile out to center field that was caught by Osuna. And he has a strikeout, so he's 0 for 2. (5-2). Tigers looking to add to their lead here in the 7th. Way high. Two balls, 2 strikes. Waiting on deck, Nick Castellanos. A little bit outside, throw back behind the runner. It's going to sail into center. Both runners will move up. Upton will go to third and Cabrera to second.
A good throw here by Real Muto, and they may have had Justin Upton. One of the things that we've seen the Tigers start to do is take those really aggressive secondary leads, which allows them to get to that next base, should it be a wild pitch or even a base hit or a ground ball in the infield.
So now they're forced to pull the infield in here with Martinez up there in a 3-2 count. First error of the ball game for the Marlins. Popped up a mile high into shallow center field. It's not going to be deep enough, it appears. Osuna has it, and the runners will hold. 2 gone. We'll bring up Castellanos. RBI double in the 6th inning. Castellanos was the last hitter that Fernandez would see in this game. Jose struck out 13 in the contest, but the double by Castellanos chased him. Second RBI of the year for Nick, and he's got a chance to pick up a couple of more here with a base hit. It's in there, a strike. Well, the one thing on that bad pickoff throw to second base, the one thing I noticed is Cabrera read that so beautifully, and he was easily into second base. He was 3/4 of the way down the line when that ball hit the grass in the outfield.
Cabrera is not fast by any stretch of the imagination, but he is one of the smartest heads-up base runners in the game of baseball. Tremendous base runner. You don't have to be fast to be a really good base runner, but really Miggy does everything well on the baseball field. I remember Jim Leland talking about Miguel a couple of years ago. He said there were times where Jim might not make a move or might not do something he should have done, and he said Miggy would call him out on it, and Jim said, you know what, you're right.
Really?
Absolutely. Said Miggy would call him out every now and then. You should have did this or you should have did that. And Jim said he couldn't say anything.
0-2 on Castellanos. Swing and a miss. This time down on strikes. And the threat. Tigers get a double and an intentional walk in strand 2. Time to stretch. Summary for this one: Jose Fernandez, his second career home start in which he's given up 5 or more earned runs. He did have 13 strikeouts in this game, but the Tigers knocked him out. Sanchez, 5+ innings, couple of runs, and Saltalamacchia, the hitting star for the Tigers in this one here today. What kind of food we got going on there? Looks good though.
I know what that beverage is.
There's no doubting what that is. No mystery there. There's Saltalamacchia, who not only has thrown out D. Gordon in this game, but he's also knocked in 4. And Justin Wilson coming in.
That throw out by Saltalamacchia in the very first inning kind of set the stage for the whole game.
Well,
50
no doubt.
steals last year for Gordon, and he threw him out in that first inning after he was hit.
Yeah, Fernandez had struck out the side in the first inning, and then Gordon got a bunt single.
Yeah, bunt single.
And then was thrown out. Wilson throws ball 1.
We saw him last night, Wilson. He pitched 1 inning. He looked outstanding. Fastball in the mid-90s. He pitched pretty much in the 6th and the 7th inning last year for his former team, the Yankees, who the Tigers will see on Friday. This was a great trade right here made by Avila, who was kind enough to join us earlier today. We might get him back again because Tigers put a couple runs on the board when he was here.
That's right. Saltalamacchia hit his home run with Al in the booth. There's a ball low. Wilson was acquired in the Luis Cessa deal. Also, Chad Green went over. That's the deal that was consummated by Avila.
His lovely wife, Yamil, sitting next to him. I've known the Avilas for a long time, back to my Florida Marlins days, back in 92, 93, when I was a young coach there, and Avila was working in the front office as a scout at that particular time. A lot of Florida Marlins, Miami Marlins ties on this current Tigers roster. Kevin Rand, the trainer, used to work for the Florida Marlins at that time.
And Chavarria is out, 1 gone.
Rich Doobie, new pitching coach, also was a coach at that particular time in the Florida Marlins organization.
Chris Johnson will pinch hit for the pitcher spot.
I should just say Marlins instead of explaining why I call them Florida and Miami.
Yeah,
right?
it's easier that way. Although it's going to be very interesting when the Tigers first play the White Sox this year and Alex Avila's in the line.
Yeah.
That's going to be fun to watch. Johnson pinch hit of the ball game last night. He'll take a strike at the knees. Here's the 0-1. Top of the order, waiting on deck, D. Gordon. (5-2). Tigers have the lead. They have led all day. One and 2. Marlins last night used 3 pinch hitters. Johnson has been with the Astros, with Atlanta and Arizona, also Cleveland. Swing and a miss. And Justin Wilson reaching back at 94, throws it by him.
Good 4-seam fastball. You can see the grip. High 3/4 arm slot fastball up in the strike zone right by Johnson.
Here is D. Gordon. Verhagen came on in the 6th inning, and now Wilson here in the 7th in place of Anibal Sanchez. And Gordon looks at strike 1 in the inner edge. He didn't like that call from Kerwin Danley. Gordon is 1 for 3 in the game with a bunt single. talking about his dad, Tom Flash Gordon, last night when he was a pitcher in the Royals organization. When I was broadcasting the minor leagues in A-ball way back in the 80s, Tom Gordon was pitching in Appleton, and he was pitching in the day. It was like, I don't know, about 30, 35 degrees. And those hitters wanted no part of Flash Gordon that day.
His fastball, mid-90s, but it was that curveball that was an exceptional pitch for Flash.
Half swing, grounded foul.
Gets a chance to watch his son play every single night.
That's awesome.
D signed a really nice contract this offseason, 5-year contract. There's some people out there that felt like he left some money on the table, but you can't speak to different people's situations. You know, when you get offered that kind of financial security in your life, and why not take it?
The 1-2, and he just missed. Justin thought he had strike 3. 2-2 on D. Gordon. Emergency swing, and he fouls it back to the screen. More action in the bullpen for the Marlins. Iverson warming up again. He was up earlier in the ball game. Pull to right field out of the reach of a leaping Ian Kinsler. Will be the second hit of the game for D. Gordon. 2-out single. And it'll keep the inning going for Marcell Ozuna. An 0-for-2 afternoon for Ozuna, although he had a walk. And scored on a sac fly in the 6th. He came around with the Marlins' first run. Marlins now have 6 hits on the board. The Tigers have 8 today. You know, if the Tigers come away with the victory here today, Ron, you've got to feel pretty good about the fact that you faced a guy that struck out 13 of your hitters, but you have a good chance to win.
For sure. There's some quality at-bats turned in by several guys. Saltalamacchia obviously has had a really nice day, but that at-bat by Castellanos as well in the 6th inning was a tremendous at-bat.
Bouncing ball towards second, and Kinsler has it there to retire the side. No runs, a hit, 1 left. Tigers baseball presented by Bell Tire. Raise your expectations of what a bank can be when it's time. Come to Comerica. Your Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. Visit ChevyDetroit.com. See why Chevy drives the Motor City. And by Wallside Windows. We can do that. We are the factory. There is a view of Miami, Florida, where the Tigers lead the Marlins 5-2. Won't be long. We're going to hop the jet, fly back home, and get ready for opening day on Friday in the Motor City.
Which is really the ultimate opening day.
Jared Saltalamacchia. Here's our Magic Moonshot presented by Magic Window. Got all of it. Facing in the upper deck off Fernandez. Saltalamacchia has had a nice day. He's also chipped in with a 2-run double as well. So the switch hitter now will turn around and bat right-handed. Chris Narveson is the new pitcher.
Man, Narveson not a hard thrower. Fastball tops out at about 90 miles an hour. Throws a lot of changeups, lots of breaking balls. Only uses his fastball about 40% of the time.
Narveson got to the big leagues briefly with the Cardinals in '06. It's the year they beat the Tigers in the World Series. And then finally got to the major leagues to stay in '09 when he spent about 4 years with the Milwaukee Brewers. Used mostly as a starter. One and two on Saltalamacchia. Jared to be followed by Iglesias and then Gose. We're in the 8th inning in Miami. Backed him out of there, lost his helmet. Two and two. Got him, strike three.
Yeah, Saltalamacchia guessing for something else.
One away now for Iglesias.
You wonder if Jose might be entertaining the thought of bunting down toward third base. Martin Prado, their third baseman, giving him a little room down there.
Ball one. There you have it.
Yep, even with the bag is Prado.
Narveson in his career has spent parts of 12 seasons in the minor leagues.
Wow.
It's a lot of innings in the minors, over 1,100 innings in the minor leagues. He's fallen behind now 3-0. He has also pitched in Japan back in 2014 for Yakult.
Swallow.
Yes, indeed. The 3-0 is in for a strike. Oh. 3-1 pitch. 3-2. Iglesias last year hit 300. He did miss 41 games though down the stretch. Here's another base hit. His second to the ball game. 1-out single. Hey, baseball is back on FS1 as Adrian Gonzalez and the Dodgers battle Buster Posey and the Giants on Saturday. It's all in America's home for baseball all season long, FS1. So watch it live on Fox Sports Go. Two pretty good teams. Here's Anthony Gose. Strike one to Gose, who has an infield hit in 3 at-bats. Drilled to center field. Osuna backpedaling. Gose hit it hard, but that is the second out. Retreating is Iglesias. There's Mark Lowe warming up at the bullpen. He'll get the 8th. Looks like Victor now is going to get another pinch hitting opportunity here. Homer is a pinch hitter last night.
Yeah, he made the most of the plate appearance that he got in last night's game. At number 9 spot in the Tigers batting order, Justin Verlander base hitting the home run by Victor, 2 for 4 in that win in last night's contest.
And Martinez looks at ball 1.
Here's that home run in last night's game, and he hit it the opposite way, which kind of tells you all you need to know about that left knee, that backside. And that was so troublesome for Victor last year. He really couldn't turn on the baseball. He really couldn't plant on that left leg. But this year, he's a lot healthier.
2004, the last time Victor had a pinch hit home run. He drives another one in the air, deep into left center field. That ball is way back. It's going to the wall, and it's gone. A home run. Victor Martinez has done it again.
Look out, Victor. He's making the most of his plate appearances, isn't he?
You won't let me play? Take that.
And you don't have to worry about that hamstring when you're jogging around the bases.
Victor Martinez, a home run left-handed last night, a home run right-handed tonight. Boy, is that a great sign.
I wonder how far you have to go back to find a guy in his first 2 hits of the season, pinch hitting, hits home runs.
Well, you know, we've got a really good staff in the truck. And they're going to look it up.
They may have never been done.
I don't know if it's ever done.
Never been done.
I would be surprised if it's never been done. First 2 hits of the regular season, pinch hit homer.
And 1 left-handed, 1 right-handed.
Here's Kinsler. What a frustrating season last year for Victor Martinez, and to come out here in 2016 and homer in his first 2 at-bats. Good for Victor.
Is it that easy, Victor?
Apparently. One and 2 on Kinsler.
Can't make this stuff up.
Well, you can't. On the line to center field, it'll drop, base hit.
Ian Kinsler just continues to roll. Mario, he has picked up right where he left off last year.
Well, he had a good start in spring camp as well. Really, overall, had a really good spring training, and yep, he hadn't slowed down at all. Another 2-hit game. In fact, he had 61 multi-hit games last year, which led the majors. That'll get Justin Upton a chance here. Tigers had 5 extra base hits in last night's game. They've hit a couple of more home runs in this game. They had 2 doubles in the 6th inning, another double in the 7th. We expected this offense to be like this, and well, it has so far. And meanwhile, Fernandez, all he can do is watch. Bounce in, get away from the catcher, roll to the backstop, and advance the runner. Wild pitch. Two-base hit for Upton back in the 7th. Swing and a miss. So the Tigers have made their lead a little bit more comfortable now. The Marlins had gotten 2 to shave it to a 3-run lead, but it's back to 7-2. 2-1. Tigers now have 5 home runs in this series. No one's going to make fun of Saltalamacchia's fingers tonight.
No.
Not with the game he's had. Now it's gone to 3-1.
Little Tigers fans, they ate curly fries last night.
They did.
They might eat them again today.
We need one more homer.
3-1 count here to Justin Upton.
High fly ball.
He made a bid for it.
Not going to have enough. And the center fielder Osuna hauls it in. However, how about Victor Martinez? He does it again, this time right-handed. They lead 7-2 now as we go to the bottom of the 8th inning here at Marlins Park in Miami. Trying to sweep this 2-game series. Tigers go back to the bullpen. Their 8th inning guys out there now. Mark Lowe.
And great arm. Yeah, Mark Lowe has fastball 95, 96, really good slider. And one of the things that he said he got away from last year, and because he had so much success in his 2 stops in Seattle and also in Toronto, you see there the 1.96 ERA. He forgot about his changeup. Said he's going to throw more changeups this year in certain situations.
First one home is outside. 1 ball and no strikes to Christian Yelich. Yelich, Stanton, and Prado. 3-4-5 for the Marlins here in the 8th. Ground ball slowly towards second. 1 out. Here's the 1-800-CALL-SAM call to the game, and for Brad Ausmus, calling on Justin Wilson, just like they drew it up in the 7th inning, has really paid dividends in the first 2 games. 2 innings, no runs. He has struck out 3, hadn't walked anybody.
Well, as soon as the Tigers were able to acquire all 3 of the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning guys, Brad Ausmus went out and said that it's going to be that way. I got a 7th inning guy and an 8th inning guy and a 9th inning guy. And I can remember last year it was August and Brad still did not really have solidified roles down there for his bullpen. It was just one of those tough years for the bullpen.
Well, there were times last year where the Tigers didn't know who was going to close games.
Yep.
Let alone pitch in 7th and 8th. Much different scenario this year. Giancarlo Stanton, the batter. Chase the breaking ball. 1-2. Lowe began the season with Seattle last year before he was acquired by the Jays at the deadline. 7th best ERA among relievers last year was under 2, 1.96. Did he go? Negative. Andy Fletcher down at first base. Full count now, 3-2 on Giancarlo Stanton. Martin Prado next. Slowly toward third. Castellanos was deep. Won't have a play. Infield hit.
Let's take a look at the big boys big play of the game, and we talked about Saltalamacchia and his bat, but what he did in the very first inning after a bunt single by the very talented Gordon, Anibal Sanchez gave him time to throw, and he threw him out. 50 steals last year for Gordon, and Saltalamacchia threw him out in the very first inning.
Here is Martin Prado. That infield hit now gives the Marlins 7 hits on the night. Strike one. Prado is 1 for 3. A single in his first at bat. Tigers trying to deal Jose Fernandez his first ever loss at home. They can hang on to win this game. Lowe last year held right-handed batters to a 196 average. Brings with him a veteran presence and postseason experience. Bouncing ball to short. Iglesias on the charge. They'll go to first for the out. Quick throw back to the bag, and they're going to go. It looked like Stanton was out, but he got his hand back in there.
Good heads-up play there by Miguel.
Stanton was aggressive around the bag, thinking he might take third, and almost paid for it.
Oh, he got it. It's out. Oh, they might challenge that. They are going to challenge it.
Yeah, I mean, it looked with the naked eye that he was out. And so here comes a challenge.
First one of the year.
Yep, first Tiger challenge of 2016.
It'll be the crew chief, Joe West, and the second base umpire, Mark Rippinger, with the headsets on.
Stanton for a moment thought he might be able to get to third because Castellanos was drifting toward the bag at second base. Then he put on the brakes. We'll see if they eventually call him out.
He tried to pull the right arm back, but he didn't fool Ian. Ian stayed with that left hand. It looked like he might have got it before that hand got on the bag. The ribbon just right there.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, the umpire had a really good look at that. So we may have been deceived by the video. We'll see. If he is out, that will end the inning. If not, Justin Bour will bat with the man at second. think Iglesias had time to get the force at second instead of going to first?
I was kind of wondering why he played that the way that he played it. I mean, because he really charged it aggressively, and then he threw on to first base when he probably had enough time, if he chose to do so, to just stay back a little bit longer and at least get the force out at second base in that particular situation. But we'll take another look at it after they get finished with this challenge.
The call on the field is safe at second. They need clear evidence that tag was made on the left hand by Stanton before they're going to call him out. And it's taking a while. So Joe West continues to wait for the word from New York. Here we go. Ooh, they called him safe. So the call stands.
Here's the play. And we'll get an idea whether he had time to stay back and then get the out. He had plenty of time to do that. But the last thing I'm going to do is criticize the way Iglesias plays shortstop.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it looked like Stanton did a good job of keeping that right hand away from the tag and then sneaking in that left hand. But boy, he looked out initially, and apparently not.
And a nice job there by the second base umpire. He was all over that.
So the call stands. 2 minutes 52 seconds on that challenge by the Tigers. Justin Bour, the batter, trying to drive in a 2-out run. 2-0. Saltalamacchia telling Lowe to step off. They'll reshuffle the signs. Marlins have gotten their 2 runs in the 6th. A sac fly and an RBI double. In fact, it was Bour that doubled in a run. They made it 5-2 at that point. 3-0. Marlins fell behind 5-0 last night before they tied it up. Really had a chance to win the game. They had the winning run in second with 2 outs. It would be the Tigers to win it in the 11th. We'll take on 3-0, 3-1. That is a fair ball to first, and Cabrera will handle it himself. That'll end the inning. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left. To the 9th we go. For the sweep of the Marlins, here is the upcoming pitching matchup presented by Gordon Chevrolet. And on Friday, here are the probables for opening day at Comerica Park.
And Jordan Zimmerman signed to a free agent contract in the offseason, and the Tigers are slotting him right behind Justin Verlander, although he is getting the ball opening day. That's why he did not get the ball here today. They wanted him to pitch at home against a very talented Luis Severino. That kid's young, man, and they refused to trade him last season at the trade deadline. And after watching him when he got called up, Mario, you could see why.
Yep. 2.89 ERA. He was awfully good, and what he does is also interject a little bit of youth in that rotation too, which they need.
Well, he's only 23, I believe.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Jordan Zimmerman will make his first Tigers start, hopefully a good one. In the meantime, the Tigers have this game to wrap up. They are up 7-2 as we go to the ninth. And Miguel Cabrera will get things started for the Tigers here in the ninth inning. Tigers today 7 runs on 11 hits, and the Marlins 2 runs 7 hits. Everson back out there for his second inning of work. He surrendered the homer to Victor last inning. Cabrera, J.D. Martinez, Nick Castellanos here in the ninth. Logan Kensing is warming up in the Detroit bullpen. Bouncer back up the middle. Another hit for Miguel Cabrera, his second of the ball game. Leadoff single in the ninth.
Miguel is so good at taking what the opposing teams gives him. If you overshift on him, he will simply hit the ball right back up the middle or on the right side of the infield to get a base hit. He will take those base hits. I think Miggy understands that sooner or later. I mean, he's going to hit for power, but he just racks up lots of hits, drives in lots of runs.
And 4 batting titles to prove it.
It's been a long, long time since you've had the reigning batting champions start the season against one another. I think you have to go all the way back to 1901. Of course, D. Gordon, their second baseman, won a batting title last year. You just mentioned.
No kidding.
Miguel won his 4th.
01?
1901.
Ball high, 1-1 on J.D. Martinez.
You just a little bitty baby then.
.338 for Miggy, .333 for Gordon.
And obviously they did it in different ways. So we told you earlier that Gordon led the majors last year with 52 infield singles. And Miguel doesn't get many infield singles, which makes his batting titles so special, really.
Might get 1 or 2. You never know. That's about it, though. And Gordon really had to pour down the stretch. He was 7 for his final 13 to win that batting title last year. Had a 3-hit game the last day of the season.
205 hits.
Here's the 2-2. Lifted toward right. That'll drop. Base hit. Cabrera's on his way to second. Now to third. Miggy read it all the way, and the Tigers now have runners at the corners.
And Tigers have a real nice lead, but earlier in this game, in the 6th inning, Jose Fernandez was on the mound. This might have been one of the best at-bats of the night. It's our bell tire pitch by pitch. Castellanos with runners on base. He got a couple of breaking balls, fastballs up in the strike zone. Finally, Fernandez hung him a breaking ball, and he hit a single into left center field. Really good at bat by Castellanos.
Nick now with a couple of RBIs on the year. Bouncing ball to short. They're going to come home with it, and Miggy caught in a rundown. They'll tag him out, and that'll leave runners at first and second. Fielder's choice, 6-2 on the putout. We were talking about Victor Martinez and hitting pinch hit home runs in his first 2 at-bats of 2016. When is the last time that we've seen something like that? Oh, well, 1914 first player to have pinch hit homers in each of the first 2 games of the season. Ball 1 to Saltalamacchia. Two out of 4 RBIs for Saltalamacchia. High towering fly ball to left. Yelich is camping under it. 2 gone. Now Iglesias. Marlins have 7, 8, 9 due up when we get to the bottom of the 9th. Ball 1. A pretty good night for Iglesias as well. He's had 2 hits. He's walked. He's scored a run. For 7 so far in the brand new campaign. Two and 0. Tigers with 13 hits in this game. They had 12 hits in yesterday's opener, so that's a pretty good start for the offense coming home on Friday night or Friday afternoon against the Yanks. That's in there, 2 and 1. Narveson came on in the 8th and pitching again here in the 9th. What'd you have on Sanchez tonight? What did you think about his performance?
I was encouraged by what Sanchez was able to do. He was able to spot his fastball anywhere from 89 to 91 miles an hour. Had really good command, good control. Threw a few breaking balls, a few changeups, but it was a really nice outing for the first time of the year for Anibal. Very encouraging. Sure that man right there appreciated it as well.
3 outs away from going to 2-0 on the brand new campaign. Of course, the Tigers got off to quick starts 2 years ago and last year as well. 2 years ago they won the division. Last year they of course finished in last place, so different endings even though they had quick starts to the season. 3-2. Ghost will bat if Iglesias reaches. Runners go on 3-2 and a swing and a miss to strike him out. That'll take care of the Tigers in the 9th. 3 more outs to get. We go to the bottom of the 9th. In the ninth, 7-2 in favor of the Tigers. And now with a preview of tonight's Tigers Live, here's John Keating.
We'll have team coverage, Mario, from right here in Miami. We'll handle all your post-game duties. We'll visit with Jared Saltalamacchia, certainly the hitting hero, and of course he had the big throw out of D. Gordon early on tonight. You'll hear from Brad Ausmus in the Tigers clubhouse. We'll peek ahead to the home opener as well. It's right after the game on Fox Sports Detroit Plus from here at Marlins Park, guys.
All right, John, thanks. 3 more outs to get. The Tigers have themselves a sweep to start this year. Saltalamacchia, a big reason why the Tigers are enjoying a lead here in the 9th inning. And Logan Kensing will check in. Now here are his spring numbers.
And Logan Kensing made the team in spring training, and it really went down to one of the final spots on the roster before he was told that he would be traveling north with the ball club.
Kensing a .261 earned run average this spring. JT Realmuto starting things off against Kensing. Logan last year was released by the White Sox in April and then signed by Seattle. Was 2-1 with the Seattle Mariners. He bounces one in, 1 ball, 1 strike.
And Tigers AAA manager Lloyd McClendon and gave Kensing a really nice recommendation. His approval, I should say, to the Tigers. Thought he could help out the team.
And so the Tigers signed him up in December last offseason. One ball, 2 strikes. Swing and a miss. 1 away. Kensing does have some time here with the Marlins. He pitched in Florida at the beginning of his career. 04 through 09, parts of each of those seasons.
And pretty much sinker slider. His fastball tops out at about 92 miles an hour. He throws the fastball 50% of the time. He throws his slider 45% of the time. So pretty much a 2-pitch pitcher. There's a slider at 83.
Danny Echeverria batting now with 1 out. The chopper toward third, foul. Pitcher spot due next. Looks like Derek Dietrich has picked up a bat.
It's nice to be a National League bench player because you get a lot more opportunities than you do in the American League.
Yeah, the pinch hitting numbers are much higher in terms of at bats in the NL.
Speaking of pinch hitting, Lenny Harris, their third base coach, all-time pinch hit leader with 212 for Lenny. He could hit.
They say pinch hitting one of the toughest jobs in all of baseball, but he mastered it.
He made it look good. He made it look easy. One of the funniest men in baseball.
Is he?
Yes, he is. He's hilarious.
Fouled off at home plate.
I was talking to him yesterday. He wasn't sure whether he was going to be able to keep his job as the third base coach with Don Mattingly coming over, and Don able to pick his own staff, bring everybody that he wanted to bring, but he held on to Lenny Harris. He heard lots of really good things about him, and of course Lenny was elated at the fact that he was chosen to stay on the staff.
Line toward left field. That'll get down. Looks like extra bases as Upton digs it up in the corner. And it'll be a 1-out double for a Danny Echeverria.
Well, just like we promised you earlier in the game, it is Miller time, and is always brought to you by Miller Lite. Victor Martinez, for the 2nd consecutive day, comes off the bench as a pinch hitter, and he hits a home run. Last night he did it from the left side. Tonight he did it from the right side.
He's not going to be pinch hitting on Friday.
No, he'll be playing. Better get some hits. Brad might sit him down and pinch hit him.
So here is Derek Dietrich pinch hitting. One on, one out here in the ninth. 7-2. The Tigers have the lead. Here's the 1-0. 2-0 Dietrich. Top of the order waiting, D. Gordon. Kensing replacing Lowe, who threw the 8th. Wilson threw the 7th. And Verhagen is also thrown in this game tonight. Sliced the other way into left. That's a base hit. Echeverria coming around third. They will score him. It's a pinch hit RBI single for Derek Dietrich. And it's 7-3.
And Brad might have to get Rodriguez back up again in the bullpen.
Well, especially since the top of the lineup is coming up. Still only 1 out. There's Frankie.
Threw 19 pitches in last night's game, and he only threw 6 fastballs. I was talking to Rich Doobie, the new pitching coach, before the game today, and he said he probably should have thrown more fastballs. You have to mix it up a little bit more. He said a lot of the changeups that Rodriguez was throwing weren't horrible pitches, but the opposing batters, they just kind of sat on some soft stuff because he would not throw his fastball.
Well, D. Gordon had an RBI double against him in the 9th inning. That tied the game at 7. Pulled on the ground towards second and through. It's a base hit. Dietrich will stop at second base. It's a single for D. Gordon, his 3rd hit tonight.
Rich Doobie might have to go out there and visit and to buy a little time for Rodriguez to get loose.
And here he comes. So it's 7-3. 3 straight hits. I guess Logan Kensing, a double by Echeverria, singles by Dietrich and Gordon. There's that 30-second clock for the pitching coaches.
Yep, Kerwin Danley, home plate umpire, casually walking out. Rich Doobie didn't use all of his 30 seconds.
No.
You know what he told him, though, didn't you?
No.
He told him to throw a ground ball right here.
Okay, that'll work.
You've got a good sinker. Use your sinker. Get the ground ball. Get the double play so we can get out of here.
Osuna with a walk and a run scored. Marlins trying to come back against the Tigers bullpen on consecutive nights. Osuna looks at a strike on the outer edge. Giancarlo Stanton going over the scouting notes.
Yep, getting the book on Kensing.
Hopefully it doesn't get to him.
He won't be facing Kensing anyway.
No. One ball, one strike. Bouncing ball to short. Let's see if it ends the game. Iglesias, Kinsler, and not in time.
It almost went home.
He almost got that double play you wanted. Not hit sharply enough, though, to turn it.
Real quick hands by Iglesias on the high chopper. Gets to Kinsler. Kinsler able to turn it over. One thing about the middle infielders, look at Kinsler here. You don't even have to worry about the base runners taking you out anymore. Most guys can't even slide into second base aggressively. So really, as a middle infielder, you can take as much time as you pretty much need to turn it over.
Meanwhile, Brad is going to bring in Frankie Rodriguez. So the Tigers make a pitching change. We'll be back. Rodriguez here in the ninth.
And we talked about his night last night. He pitched in a little bit of difficult luck, though. There's a bouncer over the head of Romine who was in the game here. Nice play by Upton here, but some of these balls that were hit like that one was a really good changeup, and that's what Rich Doobie was talking about, the fact that he didn't throw enough fastballs. You have to show the fastball, even though the velocity is not 95, as Rodriguez used to throw, he can still get up to 90 miles an hour. So then you need that separation with the changeup, and he just threw way too many changeups last night.
Last year, Frankie Rodriguez 38 out of 40 in save opportunities. And now he'll try and get Christian Yelich with 2 outs, first and third, 7-3 Tigers. Runner breaks to second base with no throw, and in there standing up is Yelich, or Osuna rather. 1-0 on Yelich. Big swing there by Yelich. 1-1. Tigers acquired Frankie Rodriguez from Milwaukee last November in a trade for Javier Betancourt and a player to be named later. Missed it outside, 2-1. That's the other incredible thing that Avila was able to do in the offseason. Rework that bullpen and make the trades that he did without really giving up any of his prime pitching prospects. They all remain in the system. Guys like Norris and Fulmer and Boyd. Here's the 2-1. Grounded foul, 2-2.
Yeah, the one prospect they really did have to give up was Sessa, but they had to give him up in order to get the Wilson kid from the New York Yankees.
Two and two on Yelich, trying to leave Stanton in the on-deck circle in this ball game. Full count now, 3-2. And if Yelich is able to reach, Giancarlo Stanton is the tying run standing on deck. Foul away. This all started with a one-out double by Adeiny Echeverria. Pinch hit single by Dietrich scored the run. Base hit by D. Gordon. Missed it inside for ball 4. That will load the bases. And they will indeed have to face Giancarlo Stanton, and he is the tying run at the plate.
Well, going up against Stanton, if you're Rodriguez, you have to make him hit the ball to right field. Really, the only thing that can hurt you here is a home run. You can see 12 to left, 10 to center field, only 5 to right field. So he does not have near the power hitting the ball the opposite way as he does to the pull field. Therefore, if you're Rodriguez, you must stay away from him.
1 for 6 career against Frankie Rodriguez. And Stanton takes ball 1. Bases loaded with Marlins in a 7-3 game. 2 outs in the 9th. That is popped up. Foul ground left side. Castellanos on a play.
Here's a ball that probably should be driven the opposite way. You see where Saltalamacchia is with the glove. That ball's away, but Stanton is still trying to pull this baseball. That changeup almost leaked over the heart of the plate, too.
Yeah, that could have been disaster. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Tigers have employed the shift against Stanton now with Ian Kinsler on the shortstop. Side second base.
High fly ball down the right field line, slicing toward the seats. Well, Stanton is still kicking 1 and 2. Stanton last year against the shift hit only 175. That's the shift the Tigers have going right now.
He and Kinsler moved back over a little bit now. Entire infield playing deep. Entire outfield also playing deep.
Bouncing ball, foul ball, third base side. 1 and 2. The count stays on Giancarlo Stanton. Frankie Rodriguez came out of the bullpen and walked Christian Yelich to load the bases. Prado is waiting on deck. He's had to navigate through the middle of the Marlins lineup here in the 9th. Swing and a miss. He struck him out, and the Tigers will sweep the Marlins. Frankie Rodriguez strikes out Giancarlo Stanton with the bases loaded.
They threw an outstanding breaking ball here to Stanton, and you can see that Stanton was trying to hit the ball out of the ballpark, but real nice breaking ball thrown by Rodriguez that darted down and away from the bat of Stanton.
And a fist pump for Frankie Rodriguez as the Tigers win this one 7-3 tonight. They take the first 2 games of the 2016 season. We'll be back to Marlins Park.